good, John?
You know, you can actually see that hole perfectly on camera.
Hello and welcome to Strange Conversations, where normally we come together to bring you nerdy news as well as our personal topics of the week. However, this week has been E3, so rather than doing the regular rigmarole, we're coming together to give our E3 impressions from the East Coast, because we couldn't make the West Coast this year. We had other plans. We hinted at it the last episode. However, they kind of fell through. We apologize for the inconvenience and the late post this week. Next year, we will be better about it, and we will inform you. We'll actually be more prepared, because E3 kind of went everywhere this year. So I think rather than going through everything, other than the introductions, because to my far left is...
Dylan Sinat.
To my left...
Mark Polar.
And to my right...
John.
Handsome John. We're going to go through conference by conference and just hit the highlights of what we thought. Starting with EA's conference. Big disclaimer here. I did not watch the conference. I caught up on the news after the fact. So I'm going to leave this all to you guys unless I'm jumping in about a game.
Okay.
So, you good?
No, you're fine. You start off. This is more.
I was going to say, so EA's conference, you got the same normal stuff. You got to see some Madden. You got to see some FIFA. We incorrectly guessed that they would be releasing a new engine or something crazy. They also did not put a new emphasis on story, which they seemingly ignored both of those. They did drop the FIFA demo the night of.
Did they talk about story at all? Like,
No.
not even a little bit. Okay, wow, okay.
Absolutely not.
The Madden one was legit, like a scissor reel, and then I think 60 seconds of talking about the old Pro series.
No long shot?
Nope.
Okay, whatever.
I'm going to assume it's still going to be there, but
Yeah.
whatever. Then you had Battlefield come in. Battlefield
Woo!
showed tanks blowing stuff up. That's pretty much 90%.
Let the
of it.
Battlefield fan talk about it. Woo!
No, EA jumped on the hype train.
Yep.
Yeah.
Battle Royale's coming. Like,
Yep.
you know, I mean, like, they had to.
It's not right away. It'll be after the release, but
Yeah. But
In normal
It's-
Battlefield fashion.
yeah.
it's got
Late to the
released like a nearly it kind of what was the one that was like cops and robbers?
Hardline.
Oh, yeah,
That's
Hardline,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, Hardline came out, you know, a half ready game, you know, coming out to market, and then all of a sudden, hey, here, by the way, here's the biggest newest feature that we're gonna have, you know, 3 months later.
I do think it was very ominous as well, but at the same time, Battlefront didn't get it.
Yeah.
Why
Which
would you not give them the BR2? It's the same engine.
I agree 100%. And not only that, it's the more popular game. Like,
Yeah.
Battlefield
Yeah.
5 for sure is going to sell well, but Star Wars.
Yep.
Star Wars.
Same engine,
Fortnite?
same type of game
Yeah,
too.
Fortnite and Star Wars. Combine the two, and you have the biggest cash cow the world has ever
Totally.
seen.
They did show some new DLC and whatnot for it. They do the 2-year support cycle. A lot of the DLC and stuff for it looked cool. Still, if you don't have it, you can get it for cheap, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. They did announce a mobile game, which one of my roommates and myself have been playing. I think you downloaded it as well.
I did.
It's Command and Conquer Rivals.
That looks so sick.
It's actually pretty cool. If you have Android phone, you can
really nice.
download it now.
I'll check it out. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'll
Yeah,
take a look at it.
it's an
when we're on the show.
RTS, so if you
Watching
like
the play
RTS,
was fun.
Yeah?
It looked like it was kind of like you were actually getting into it just watching it.
Is it competitive only? Like
there is a
mode kind of?
story. I don't know if there's a story after you beat the tutorial.
I mean, yeah, once you get past the tutorial, everything that I've played's been online. So.
Okay.
I would assume when it comes out, there probably will be. But I mean, it's still really fun. It's like a deck building RTS game. It's 1v1.
Honestly, I almost compare it to Clash Royale to some
Yep.
extent because it's the same style of gameplay. I mean, the objectives are different, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
similar.
Before we get too
Objective-
far away, are you excited for the new Battlefield? Like, did it look like something that you wanted to play?
It looked like Battlefield 4 to me. To be honest, I've kind of lost all of my hype. But like when I played Battlefield 2 on the regular, and then 2142 got announced, like back when I was young. I mean, like in what was it, like 06,
The
07.
olden days.
Yeah, basically. I was much more hyped for something like that because it was like the same platform but like a whole new slew of features. To me, a lot of this stuff just kind of seems like it stayed the same. It's the same engine. It's the same type of gameplay. It's rewrapped, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, until honestly, until 2143 comes out, so that they can introduce like the futuristic and let them be creative, you know. I guess with a lot of the stuff that you get to do, I don't think I'm really gonna be that hyped for them anymore. I mean, I'll play BR. I'll play the BR mode. I'll buy the game. I know I'm gonna do it, but
Yeah.
I'll probably be more hyped for the BR than anything else.
I also think, like I said before, is just the transition from like dark and dreary Battlefield to just how much like I guess colorful and like I guess more cinematic it is. They did
That
show
seemed to be a
so
theme this year,
many
too.
tanks in that stupid trailer.
Yeah. Well, in particular, they wanted to showcase because that was one thing actually that a lot of people were kind of mad about with Battlefield 1 is being able to take a tank and just run it through a building.
So they did that
Right. So,
every 15 seconds.
right. So they made sure they railed it in your head.
By the way, you can drive tanks through buildings. Good lord.
And
Can't say
then,
they're not learning.
yeah. And then the big reveal was Anthem.
Anthem, of course.
They showed a lot of Anthem. They showed us the same trailer we've seen before, but then they basically said that it is going to be a rig-based system to where you have a person who is simply a pilot. There are 4 rigs that they discussed. They showcased 2 of them. They showcased, I think, the Ranger and the tank. I don't remember what the tank's name was, but they showcased those 2. There's also this crazy lightning dude they didn't talk about really.
Yeah.
But he looks like everyone's favorite, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ranger looked okay too. I'm not big on tanky characters, so.
Well, this one actually looks like the reason I don't like taking characters is because they don't really have you don't have a focus on them that they're useful. This actually they made it a useful character, which I think is going to make it interesting.
I think they kind of had to make it sort of in a Destiny sense where you guys work as a team, but everybody contributes to some extent, other than one guy being really big and beefy and being the aggro character.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
What is very odd is I do wonder if the tank guy is going to be the aggro character, because I just assume larger size takes more damage.
Well, yeah,
I
it's a
could be
shield
wrong.
too. He was literally running through a
Minefield
minefield
wherever with the
over
shield, which was cool.
Well, what's weird is like he seemingly has large scale artillery, which you would maybe want him in the back. So it's like I don't know, maybe he's going to be a very diverse playstyle.
Well, I think you may be able to build them to different playstyles.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny when they were like, it's a rig basis. I'm like, I don't understand like why that's a big news drop. I didn't expect to be funneled into one character.
Yeah.
I assumed there was going to be classes, which is what exactly they're describing. So
Yeah. And I definitely think that's cool. And I mean, the gameplay demo for it looked really awesome. I mean, it looked fun and unique. Hopefully, BioWare can deliver an awesome story.
I mean, they have before. They're pretty damn good at that kind of stuff. But
Don't worry, they're releasing in February.
I'm about to say we also got the February 22nd, the
With
D-Day.
everyone else, yeah.
D-Day is what that is going to be this coming year. But it looks good. I mean,
They call it C-Day, Confirmation Day.
we run a Division crew, and we're sitting here debating whether it's going to be Division or Anthem because they come out so closely, and we'll get to Division later in the episode. But yeah.
I'll probably end up buying it just because I
Yeah.
want to see this for what it is. And
Well, I can tell you
think
right
it'll
now,
be fun.
our crew member in Kentucky is pretty confident we can beat it before Division. I talked to
I
him last night.
am too.
He's like, no, we'll squash that thing before.
Yeah, I do think it's
I'll
very
be
odd.
taking my vacation that week.
I think it's very odd because you have direct competitors, like you have the Division and you have other games that are coming out in a very similar vein.
Yep.
Yeah.
That all have content planned that we know how they're going to release. Whereas Anthem's like, we got a game and there's 2 people in it. Feel that.
Yeah, that's
the funny
true.
part is there was more. I feel like there was a lot more hype for that than there might have been for a lot of the others.
Yeah, and Division's like, here's what we're going to do the whole first year.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
They learned from their mistake on that
We'll,
one.
we'll gush on that in a little
Yeah,
bit because
totally.
I'm
What's
excited.
the difference in the release time frame for both of them?
2-3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yes, 3 weeks. March
February
February 22nd to March 15th.
15th.
Yep.
They changed the 15th.
St.
Yeah.
Patty's Day.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
It'll be right. It'll be right around there.
close enough.
The weird things out of EA were things that we predicted that didn't show up.
Yeah, I agree.
No cool new IP.
Nope.
No.
Well, some small stuff
Yeah.
through their indie thing because
Cause
you
they're
get Sea of Solitude, which looks really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unravel 2 announced and
Yep.
dropped same
And
day,
dropped, yep.
which was
Yep.
cool. I'm probably gonna pick that up with the fiance because
I like the SOS abbreviation for that.
Yeah, that was
Sea of
definitely
Solitude.
yeah.
that was definitely a cool little thing.
Well, and once again, I feel like it's important to emphasize the fact that they're an indie initiative. So many people have a problem with EA, money grubbing, all of that jazz. Their indie initiative, they never make money on.
Yep.
They have contracts with these developers in which they pay for publishing. Whatever money comes back from the game covers that publishing cost and then goes directly to the developers after the fact. So if you have a problem with EA, but you think some of these games look cool, totally go pick them up. You're not spending money on EA properties.
Absolutely.
What are the in-app purchases for Command & Conquer? Since you guys have
I
played.
would assume
It's-
it's going to be to buy card packs and whatnot.
It's you purchase gems to buy more crates, and crates give you different, like either upgrade cards or new other cards for different.
And
things.
they deteriorate. You don't keep them.
No, so that you keep all of them. So
Oh, okay,
if you
cool.
ever play like Clash Royale or anything like that, it's like a Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering, but to make your blue eyes stronger, if you get 3 of the cards, and you can level it up to a level 2 blue eyes type scenario.
He doesn't play Yu-Gi-Oh. It's not how you get
No.
I get the
No, but-
concept though. I understand. Like,
But yeah,
I
that's
played-
pretty much all it does.
So you're saying no loot boxes?
Yeah, so they did bring that out. It was definitely iterated a few times throughout their stuff. But they did say within Anthem you will be able to purchase things, but you will be able to purchase them directly.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I'm
Yeah.
cool with this.
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't mind loot boxes in that game for the sole purpose of it's non-competitive. I
Yeah.
think Battlefield and Battlefront, you run into it to where, like, if your gun's better than mine, that sucks.
yeah.
Whereas, like, in Destiny, like, if your gun's better than mine and we're playing non-competitive Crucible, It's like, that sucks, but like, whatever, you got better luck than me.
Well, am I the only one that sees like a PvP going on in the future with Anthem?
Oh, 100%. They said it's not going to be at launch, but it will be later.
Okay, so they did say. I was about to say. I was like,
Because EA doesn't release a whole game.
No, I think. Well, that's a whole other story. I think what is really interesting is like, once again, go back to the Division. Ubisoft, I think, tackled that problem really well, in which there's a bunch of skins, all of it available via loot box, or you can go and buy them directly, however you want. And the cost to buy them directly wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
But you could do it either way, and then in the game there were certain skins that were only available via loot box. I thought that was a nice balance.
And that's something that another studio, Hi-Rez, does super well with the game Smite.
Yeah.
And that's something that I super enjoy from them also. One thing that I do think that probably none of these guys are going to care about, and honestly I don't care about, but EA did cover it, they're still trying to push their NBA Live game.
Yeah.
But they lose the 2K and it's not even close. It's like, just let it die.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm sorry, like, you're trying and that's cool.
They want to hold the whole sports market.
2K faltered last year, did they not, with the in-app purchases in that one?
Well, I mean, as much as they got slammed for it, it's like people were like, I'm not going to buy 2K, but they weren't like, I'm going to buy Live instead.
Fair enough.
People just didn't buy 2K. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. But the things that we did miss that we were hoping for is maybe a new IP. We unfortunately didn't see any Dead Space.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff.
It's dead, dude. I don't think you'll see Dead Space till at least the next console generation.
That's very depressing.
I
Maybe
know.
we can play it Mars.
That's
not that far away, according to you.
Space.
There's a couple other things. Respawn teased the new Star Wars game they're working on, single player Jedi: The Fallen Order. Literally just a tease from. That was weird. I saw the clip of that from Vince Zampella where they zoom in on him. And he's like, it's coming.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, Vince.
I
Back
don't
to you.
understand why they didn't just put up a thumbnail.
And like
only just text.
a logo. Everyone else at
What's worse is you could do it just like Elder Scrolls did.
Yeah.
You could just show like, just take your camera, film space for a minute.
Yeah.
And then just put Star Wars.
So all it had to be was
That's it.
literally just stars, and then all of a sudden the hilt of the lightsaber activates, and then Star Wars Fallen Jedi, and it's like, or Fallen Order, whatever it is, Jedi Fallen Order, and then that's it. Like, cool. Now we know it's coming. They couldn't waste the resources on that, let alone anything else. They also talked about Madden coming to PC, which cool. Whoever wants that. Speaking of PC, they also were going on their Origin Access Premiere, which is the boost to Origin Access.
Origin needs to die.
Origin,
Everybody says that.
Origin, it was Origin, Uplay, and
all of it should tilt over and be done with it.
At least Uplay is not as frustrating.
Uplay, at least for Uplay, they allow you to purchase the games in Steam. Now, to play Rainbow Six Siege, I own it in Steam, but to play it, I launch it in Steam. It launches Uplay and then launches the game from Uplay. Which makes no sense, but at least I can click on it in Steam.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
Whereas like Battlefield, I must go to the Origin launcher and I must do it there, which I always have that running.
And that's why you play Battlefield on PS4.
Exactly.
I see that's my problem though. Is I have to now maintain Origin, Blizzard's client.
Yeah, Battle.net.
Yeah, Uplay. I may as well just have Uplay up because I purchased it on Steam, but I could just have Uplay up and launch it from Uplay instead of launching it from Steam, and then I have to have Steam.
The updates also don't come through Steam; they come through Uplay.
Uplay and see it. That's frustrating. But I think that's all the big ones. Is there anything else anybody wants to say?
I guess a general overview of the conference in terms of actual presentation, so we kind of speak of the games.
Yeah.
I do think there's a good separation. Like a lot of the conferences, I thought games-wise were good, but conference-wise were bad. This was definitely the start of that. A lot of the speakers and like Andrew Renee, cool person.
Yeah.
A lot of the people she was working with were not great people.
I
in
heard
terms of speaking.
She was definitely carrying it.
I heard she was underutilized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a lot of the moderation was like you said, like the Star Wars announcement. A lot of it just didn't feel like. Almost every E3 conference didn't feel rehearsed.
Yeah.
It just felt like they yelled out everything.
Which is hilarious because there's so many tweets of the night before almost every single one of these conferences. Just went through the dress rehearsal, feeling really good about it.
Yeah.
I would argue the one that did feel rehearsed is the next one we're going to talk about, which is Microsoft's conference. Because I definitely think out of all of them, presentation-wise, by far the most solid.
Real quick, what would your overall grade
of
good
point.
be? What we should do is we should do grades throughout, and then at the end.
That's fine. That's fine. I didn't watch the conference from announcements perspective. I think it was fine. It's like a B, like nothing crazy above average.
So are we talking about letter grades, or are we doing 1 to 5?
Do letter grades.
Letter grades, C plus maybe.
Yeah, I'll stick with a B. I thought they had good content, but
I'm gonna go with C just because I wanted IPs all year.
Well, of all the companies that should have given it to you, EA would have been.
You have
a
the
good
most
one.
robust library.
Yeah.
You own everything. At least half of everything.
So I got a pretty good rundown here at the Microsoft conference, but I think we can
I
do.
mean, just look at this.
Do we want to do impressions here? I don't. We're not going to zoom, but I have a little list of everything, and
two-thirds of
Microsoft
the
is
page.
quite a bit.
That's not even all they go to the
Conference comes out, 50 games,
50 games,
15 new.
15 world exclusive, world premiere announcements, and there was 18 exclusives or something along those
It
lines.
makes me want to eat my words sometimes when it comes to Microsoft because they do the most random things right.
They really do, and quite honestly, Phil Spencer is the man. The guy came out there. They had a whole event that day, which was Sunday, up until 4 when their conference started. All the proceeds from the event goes to charity. He was wearing the charity shirt on there. Really came out swinging, I think, from a company perspective, and then opened the conference with Halo.
Yep.
Now, to me, the worst tease of Halo I've seen, and I'm not a Halo fan, but
I mean, I said it was going to be a VR, but I mean,
We don't know yet. I mean,
I'm pretty sure
VR could be dead by the time the game comes out, honestly.
Yeah.
no.
I think I missed Halo because I
Halo
came in a little bit late. So
Yeah. It legit was, they showed some weird stuff happening, and then it's sand, and then it's Master Chief's helmet, and it says Halo Infinite.
well, it was the new engine they're using makes Master Chief look so scrawny just from that shot,
Yeah.
which threw me off. And then all the imagery before it was sprawling field. Here's the ocean. Here's happy people. Here's these prehistoric rhinoceroses. Here's sand, and here's Master Chief. And then
Did you
Halo
notice that they
Infinite.
lit the flare
no-
that was like, "Hey, we're over here," and he walked away?
no fighting, nothing epic.
No, nothing.
You guys see
Not
rhinos?
even the-
You herd of rhinos.
Not even the badass cloak tease of Guardians, because Guardians may not have been the best game in the world, but that teaser trailer made Master Chief look like a boss.
What's also, I mean, I definitely think good.
I was gonna say, as a Halo fan, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
That's extremely disappointing.
I do think the Master Chief sizing thing, he looks, not to give him credit, I guess, he looks so much more like Iron Man. He looks very sleek and slim, which isn't what you expect from a armored Titan, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you actually look into the lore of it, book wise, the armor does get a little smaller.
Right, but I mean, he just looked it looked dramatically different. It was just very odd. Even the helmet looked I don't know, form-fitting. It was just weird.
Yeah.
I legitimately, watching the tease, did not think that was Master Chief. I thought it was another Spartan.
I did too, honestly.
And they were hinting at, because it's called Halo Infinite, so I thought they were hinting at, an MMO or something along those lines, and then read later that it was Master Chief. And I was
What's
like,
worse to me
okay.
is, after 5, I don't know if you guys played the story of 5.
not me, but...
No.
Okay.
I got so many bad reviews. I was like, I wonder bother.
Well, it's more, the story of 5 to me was just so very odd. You basically have, the whole game is based upon, is Master Chief turning on everyone?
Yeah.
Or is it Cortana? And you're like, okay, cool. Well, then it's irrelevant to spoilers. It's Cortana. So what the f are you gonna do in this new game?
I mean, I guess we'll find out.
I mean,
That-
she's gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry.
I totally understand the tease of getting out there, because Microsoft doesn't have another conference except for Gamescom. It just felt oddly placed.
Yep. I also think that
I think we just expected it, so they're like, they want it, so just give them something.
It could be.
I definitely think it leads into my point of the general overall view of this conference, which we'll get to in a minute. But to me, it just felt so hollow. It was more of hey, we got this thing. I know you want it. Take it.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Honestly, I think they could have done more if they'd have went the Elder Scroll, the Elder Scrolls.
I mean, they basically did.
Yeah.
Well,
Essentially,
no. I mean, without showing everything, just maybe his a silhouette of his helmet.
It was probably
Halo
20
Infinite.
seconds.
Yeah.
20
I think
seconds.
it's about 35.
Yeah.
Because I rewatched it again.
Shortened it to 8.
I mean, I'm not gonna down it because it was just a little snippet and saying, "Hey, guess what? We got something in the works. We know you want to see
Yeah.
Master Chief, actually see him," and I think that was just a compromise.
Not being a fan, but understanding fandom, I think that they wasted that opportunity.
Totally.
They should
Yeah,
have just
hands
not.
down.
They should just not have
They
shown
should-
it.
Could've been
they
a
should
way
have
better
done
reveal,
more
too.
or less.
Because Halo 3's release, whenever they did the big announcement for that, I mean, there was an epic drop of all of that
Yeah.
happening. Everything was awesome.
For a starter, it was horrible.
It was a really bad starter, and I quite honestly think that if you'd have been better off just waiting to whenever gameplay's ready,
Yeah.
and then the reveal gameplay,
Oh, yeah.
do the whole
Or
shebang.
just actually have a cool cinematic trailer.
Well, but what I'm talking about is exactly what they did with
Yeah.
Gears of War 5, which was an awesome reveal.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they mixed it in with 2 other announcements, I know I'm jumping ahead in the conference,
Yeah.
but I think this is important because they're 2
Yeah.
heavyweights to their spectrum here. We got at the beginning, we got this teaser from Halo, which was weird, and then towards the tail end, we got first of all the best pump fake I've ever seen in an E3 conference in a while, which was the chainsaw brick wall. Everyone's excited. Funko Pop Marcus Phoenix pops out. And the entire arena, like, the air was sucked out. Everyone's like, wait.
Well, not only that, but he's also got his enemy sitting right next to him, and they're not fighting each other or anything. They're just looking at each other like, hey. I'm like...
Which was a great tease for a mobile game coming. That's cool.
Yep.
After that, it looked like they were going to reveal the real thing, and then once again, it's another pump fake where it was this tactics game for PC, which actually looks very XCOM-ish. It looks really cool. No release date for that, but just kind of, hey, we're working on it. It's coming out eventually. And then finally, the big reveal. Not only is it Gears of War 5, but they had a full-on like cinematic trailer of in-game engine plus a bunch of gameplay focusing on, what's her name? I cannot remember, and I didn't write it down. She's one of the main characters in Gears of War 4, and it was kind of cool seeing the perspective of... I don't know. But seeing a female perspective in a franchise that's male dominant is actually kind of interesting. Their armor looks sleeker and nicer. Like, there's some cool things to go on there. I didn't finish 4, neither of us did, but it definitely felt like she's part of the Horde.
Yeah.
So there's some interesting play here that is going out there.
Her grandmother was in it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it looked super cool, and there was a great way to tease Gears of War 5, like, and coming out whenever. We do, again, no release date.
I probably would have liked that so much more if we had finished that game.
I'm sure.
I do think as well that was like you said, with a female perspective. Not that I'm against it in any vein or anything like that. It did feel like there were so many female leads
100%.
just throughout everything from Battlefield to this. It's definitely like, not to knock it or whatever, but it just seems like, hey, there's like 30 to 40% of these games where we're putting a chick in front.
Yeah, the problem is that when you see so many of them happen so quickly, especially with these large corporations, it feels less genuine. It feels more like a PR stunt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whereas when we learn more about Gears, I feel confident that what they're doing is because of her lineage, and they had this idea to begin with.
Yep.
Battlefields were the one I feel like.
Exactly. And then there's like not to jump super ahead, but Last of Us as well. Like, we knew that Ellie was going to be big.
Exactly.
That's not like forced. It's like that's going to happen.
Yeah, and an organic illustration of the story going forward. So. Jumping way back to the beginning, we got another glimpse of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which I don't know if anybody played Ori.
Yes, and I don't know. So I don't know why you make this that exclusive. I hope it comes out on PC same time. If they delay it on PC, I'm gonna be tilted.
No, because everything that comes out on Xbox is coming out on PC. Remember?
It's a Play Anywhere. It's only 2 years ago. It was only Play Anywhere game.
It's every exclusive.
It's everything now.
Every exclusive that Microsoft releases now, and this is an exclusive on their platform. So I didn't play the original, but I heard great things about it. I love Metroidvania. The sad news is delayed to 2019.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone didn't expect that, but I think people were still a little upset.
What is very odd to me is, like, not to knock development of the developers or anything like that, but like that game technically shouldn't, in my opinion, be that challenging. So I think maybe they're redoing the story or altering something.
Well, and again,
because the first one wasn't terribly long. I mean, it was normal.
I think they're trying to build something bigger, better, faster, stronger, yada yada yada.
Right.
We also got the gameplay reveal for Shadows Die Twice, which is actually called Seiko, which I found out is like Japanese slang for a one-armed man. So it all makes sense. Shadows Die Twice was
Obviously,
the tease.
you need a slang for that.
Shadows Die Twice was the tease we got at PSX last year at Sony's, obviously, their conference.
Yep.
And here we go with the full-on gameplay. It's From Software's new game, looking like it's going to be Dark Souls, Bloodborne sped up, but less challenging from what I could tell. There's a dying mechanic that's not punishing. So there's that. That will probably turn some of the Dark Souls fans off, but I think that's a good idea for them to kind of spread their roots.
Yeah.
I know From Software's been tired of doing the same thing over and over again.
Bleak and dreary, and everyone hates their life.
Correct. So it looks cool. It reminds me a lot of Afro Samurai. Like just the aesthetic of it is really cool. So after that, we had Todd Howard come out to discuss Fallout 76. So,
do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to talk about that during Bethesda?
Well, because he did come out during this conference. I just want to say that he was there. It's always interesting to see that they have some sort of partnership. They've had one for a very long time. And there was a gameplay reveal, but we'll talk about gameplay during Bethesda.
And in the most E3 of this E3's way possible, we saw a trailer for the first of multiple times, like so many trailers.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was very frustrating.
That exact trailer was played 1 for 1 3 hours later.
Yeah, and it was very frustrating.
Yeah.
From a viewer standpoint, for sure. We also got to see The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is the spin-off game in the Life is Strange universe. Coming for free, out June 26th. It seems to be a one-off. I actually watched some more gameplay, and they kind of discuss what they're going on with there. They really like the idea of the children's imagination. You play as this little boy with his father. Mom is gone, and much like Life is Strange, followed the drama and the whims of these little kids. These teenagers. You're following this little kid around with his imaginary superpowers. So
why the one-off though?
because they want to.
I know it's supposed to kind of like lead to.
I think they want to show just like a superhero-esque vibe. Like it looks pretty different. Like it's like, especially like cinematically and whatnot, it's very different.
According to some of the developers that were being interviewed by PlayStation, the goal is essentially to show everyone that Life is Strange is not just the story of Max and Chloe. They're awesome characters. They've had 2 stories with them. They're going in a different direction, and so here's a preview of like how that can work in this universe.
I do think in watching some of the gameplay for it, just because I always have terrible, funny, or great ideas, I thought a fantastic idea is this game, this setup should have been, you're just going through all this like cool adventures, but then like the mom's there the whole time, but then at the end the dad tells you that she's been dead for a while, and then it's like the kid who's just imagining and having fun and playing the whole time. I was like, you could have just made that way more hard.
It's really like
I've never touched Life is Strange, but honestly, the idea that you're playing with an imagination of a younger child that actually sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Just because you can do anything with it. You know?
well, like Life is Strange universe has like almost a superpower. She has time travel. What if he has the will to imagine something into existence?
We may see that. They did a very good job of Before the Storm pointing out that superpowers doesn't make this universe because there was no supernatural phenomenon in there. So this may just be another one with no supernatural phenomenon, but 2 does.
Yeah.
So
And they put Tanorak in a snowman and blew it up.
there you go. Yeah, that was really cool.
It was.
Plus, it's free, and their episodes are like 2.5 hours, so
Yeah.
you know
Right.
it's worth jumping into for sure, in my opinion. We got once again another gameplay reveal of Crackdown 3. I think we've seen not this specific demo, but everything this demo had over and over and over again, with the official delay to 2019 February. No date there, which makes me think it's not making that date.
Well, either they saw everyone else release on February 22nd and were like, can't do that, or they're probably not going to hit the date.
I don't think they're gonna hit the date.
Even if they don't
There
hit the
was
date, where are you
almost
going to go? You
the
want to go the
exact
15th with the Division?
No, you push that all the way to April. If you don't make February, you go to April.
Just push it in the middle of summer. Nobody cares.
I mean,
sell like 50 copies.
at this point, yeah.
I felt underwhelmed from it. I don't know that. Like normally, I like
Yeah.
blowing stuff up and destroying things. That game.
It
that
just
trailer
feels like a
didn't get me
weaker
in the mood
version
for
of
it.
Just Cause.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Spoiler alert.
I think the big problem is that Crackdown 1 and 2 came out at a time where that kind of open world playground wasn't as prominent with like being able to just take on the world.
And then Saints Row came out.
And then Saints Row came out, then Infamous came out. Like we have all these things now that are just better.
Yep.
Yeah.
So looking at this, like I have this past week gone back and played Infamous 2 on PS3. Granted, I'm biased. I adore that game, but I watched the Crackdown 3 reveal and I was like, I'd rather just go back and play some more Infamous 2.
Yeah.
It just looked really underwhelming.
So-
For the delay, they should have been a lot more polished
Just,
than that.
and, you know, I love Terry Crews, but
Yeah.
After that, we got the Metro Exodus gameplay reveal, which I kind of expected. They got the trailer, so here we are a year later. Gameplay looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's different for the first time.
Yeah.
Doesn't look snow.
Yes, it doesn't look
It's
snow.
usually been snow and underground. I actually really like those games. I think it's an awesome series.
So I've never played them before, so this looks fascinating to me. It's based on Russian
It just
novels.
looks good.
The weird thing to me is like I don't know why I super love the lighter mechanic and I didn't see it for the first like 3/4 of the trailer and I was like no. And you see him like light up the spider web at the end. I was like okay, we're good. Still there.
Yeah, I would be doing that in that game.
The gunplay could be terrible, and you're
If
just
it
like,
was
they don't have a
unnecessary.
lighter.
It's pretty sketch. Like you'll be in like underground tunnels like the subway and stuff. Like your only light is your little lighter, so it's like I couldn't see you with it, and I have a gun and a lighter, so it's like once it gets close, like
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then we got the one of 2 showings of the 3 Kingdom Hearts trailers here, which was surprise to me. I knew that Kingdom Hearts was coming out on Xbox. I didn't quite expect Square Enix to share Kingdom Hearts, especially since it's so PlayStation heavy. But again, they shared Final Fantasy a couple years back, so I don't know why I was so surprised. Revealed Frozen, which is a big get. I think that's going to bring so many more people into this game.
Yeah.
Not knowing what they're getting into, but totally going to make those sales.
Well, like I wasn't like I was telling you earlier. I didn't have a PS1 or PS2, so I never played any of the Kingdom Hearts games. But there's a collection coming out now, so I can catch up, play those games, which is really fun. Super surprised as they brought this 3rd generation game out. they didn't say, all right, well, since we're sharing it with Xbox, let's make the game for both consoles. Obviously, some rights and some control issues there.
I'm almost 100% certain it has to deal with publishing rights.
I mean, at this point, it's like,
I really think
why?
I think the bigger missed opportunity to me is that I think they shouldn't have numbered these games in hindsight, because you could just hit the core kids, just be like Kingdom Hearts, insert title name here.
You're not wrong.
Because then it's like now you may have some kids being like, oh, I don't want to play the third one, I want to play the first two.
Well, that's what they do with the spin-offs.
Yeah.
And
Making
then,
fun of me or something?
and then you get...
No, I'm saying like there's a decent amount of the demographic who would like, I want to play all three, I don't want to just play the third one.
Yeah.
Whereas the games like, I mean, if you care enough about them, like, sure, you should probably play them like with continuity and perspective.
Yeah,
won't
because
matter.
there's a backstory
You can
that's
play the
important.
third
It
one.
won't matter. You're still
Yeah.
going to be confused.
Exactly. You can play the
Trust me.
right. And you could just, I mean, if people who play the third one are still going to enjoy it,
Yeah.
whether you played it or not.
I'm watching him watch this. He goes, "Oh, that's this, and that's this. Oh my God, she's in this." I'm like, "Oh man, I'm missing a lot."
None of that. You avoid really terrible titles like Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue.
Right.
But I digress.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
They
Okay.
made like 7 games.
Yeah. After that, we got our Forza Horizon 4 reveal, right?
Not 5.
I almost got it.
5. I was like, I'm pretty sure I wrote 5. I thought it was 4. So, anyways,
I definitely went there and switched it to 5.
oh, it is 5. Yeah, it's 4,
Yes.
and we're going to Britain. Full world shared. The 5 is a joke from the Walmart leak, in case anybody doesn't know these things. Release October 2nd, which is right around their normal. It's actually a little bit later. Normally they release early September,
I believe
right?
so.
Yeah. What are your thoughts being the car people?
It looks like a Control C, Control V of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
It looks more of the crew than Forza Horizon's been. They did show bikes at the end, which is uncharacteristic of them.
No,
They showed dirt bikes.
Forza's always Forza everything. Even Horizon's always been just cars.
Yeah.
And Forza Horizon specifically is actually Forza Horizon reminds me more of Test Drive.
Okay.
Test Drive, the entire series is open world. Get in a car, go somewhere, meets people, race, do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Forza Horizon is very much the same thing. Burnout was another one actually. It's very close
Paradise.
to Burnout. Yeah, Paradise. I don't know if the previous Burnouts were like that, but
Yeah.
Paradise was definitely open world. You go around, you get joined together, you have a crew of people, and that kind of thing.
Does that bother you, or is it interesting?
I mean, I never cared about the Horizon games. I don't really like either of the Forza games, but I don't prefer it greatly. One thing that I do want to note from the trailer, they said that this is England. If I had to ask you all one feature of English cars, what would you say?
They have
The license
steering
plate.
wheels on the left side.
Right-hand drive.
Right-hand drive, okay. You know what they didn't show a single car in the trailer?
Right side. Yeah.
Right-hand drive.
Yeah.
Not a single one in the trailer.
Didn't even think
The
about
whole thing's based upon Britain, and every car is an American. What? You have Jaguar, like one of the biggest brands. It's yours. It's England's.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't Ford own Jaguar?
What? No. Jaguar's owned by the Range Rover Group, Land Rover Group.
Oh, I don't know why I thought that.
Ford is actually the only independently owned American car now. Everyone else is owned out.
That's sad.
Fun
Now,
facts.
now that we're done with our car trivia, here came the biggest announcement of all of E3. I truly believe the ramifications of this announcement are going to impact Microsoft.
Directly relates to Forza Horizon because it's this studio.
Correct. Microsoft announced that they are buying 4 studios and creating one from thin air. So the initiative was the first one they announced, which is a brand new studio they're opening in Santa Monica. Sounds like they really want to compete with Sony Santa Monica down there.
It's like they want some employees or something.
I feel like that's probably the case. We have no idea what the initiative's making. This is brand new. They didn't really reveal anything or tease anything other than that it's starting up. After that, they talked about buying Playground Games, which of course will continue the Forza series for eternity. So prepare for Forza Horizon 27.
What's weird is that Playground runs Horizon and Turn 10 runs regular.
That's true.
I
They
thought
only bought one. Yeah.
No, they already own Turn 10.
Oh, do they really? Okay.
I didn't know they didn't own Playground. I just assumed they did.
I knew they didn't own Playground because there was this wild rumor that Playground's making the next Fable game. And spoilers, we didn't see Fable. But that could be one of the reasons why they went ahead and
could be.
purchased
Are you
them.
disappointed or no?
And
That we didn't see Fable?
no.
I'm not either.
Who made the first 3 Horizon games?
Turn 10.
Yeah.
Really?
Turn 10 makes them all.
Oh, that's interesting. Because Turn 10 is much more simulation than SimCave anyway.
After that, they announced Undead Labs, which makes State of Decay 2, which is not surprising since that's kind of like a cult classic on their console.
Yep.
Afterwards, they talked about Compulsion Games. Can't quite remember who. Oh, I'm sorry. This is We Happy Few. This is the one that confuses me the most because We Happy Few is slated for an August-September release this year. It's hitting PC, Xbox, and PS4. I think at some point in time they may have announced Switch. I could be wrong there.
Yep.
But they showed a full-blown story mode, which is brand new because the original concept had no story whatsoever.
Very Bioshocky.
Very Bioshocky, very English. But with
And
this
creepy.
new acquisition, does this mean it's still coming to PS4 like they did in Minecraft? Because Minecraft is already out. Like
Yeah.
when they bought Mojang,
They couldn't do anything about it.
they couldn't do anything about it
I
already.
would assume they can't do anything about this as well either.
I would
they,
assume
they
so.
just
but-
said we are doing this, and they probably put all the effort there. And they're like, "Yeah, you're going to buy us, but do you want to make the money or not?"
Yeah, I think it would be super dumb to pull it because
My
I don't
guess is
think.
it's also probably being devved either on PC or PS4.
Yeah, I also think that this is the one of like, if you're gonna let anything slip, just let this one go.
Yeah.
You know, if this is a hit, We Happy Few 2 is gonna be a great grab for the Xbox.
Yeah, it could be that thing that makes them mad that they didn't have it.
Yeah. And here's the one that tore me apart:
Tore us apart.
Ninja
Hellblade
Theory,
by Ninja Theory.
AKA Hellblade.
Hellblade, Enslaved,
Oh my
the
God.
DMC remake. This developer is killing it when it comes to their actual ability to generate games and the content they make. This is a get for Microsoft. I'm really happy for them.
It's a steal.
I hope they get what they want because the one thing they've advocated is how much they love their independence. So this was a kind of a weird shift for them, but we'll see what actually comes out of it because it's going to be a solid game. It's going to make me super jealous that I don't have an Xbox One.
Yeah, after what they did with Senua's Sacrifice, that was pretty
Yeah.
intense.
Then we got our first look at Division 2, so that was uplifting.
Saw that. Cinema.
We'll go over more Division at Ubisoft's conference, but it looks great. It was a good gameplay trailer, a little bit better than the average. Like
Force
I
gameplay
got your
from- I hate
6.
that so much.
it wasn't that bad though. Like
I got you.
normally, it's like
My thing is
it's
like
at your 12 o'clock.
it's just those things are so stupid. In that exact one, they were talking about like one of the people in the oh yeah, I've not been able to play that much. Like no, this is a demo. They made you a level.
I think my favorite part is he was at level 28 compared to 30. It's
Yeah.
not like he was significantly lower.
like,
Granted, that game a level lower could put you at a disadvantage. But
Yep. Sure.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider was also shown after that, and this was a smaller. Like it really wasn't a whole lot compared to what I was expecting. Square Enix got that later.
Yep.
They also showed off the new skate game Sessions.
Sessions.
Yeah.
Looks cool. It's going to be a launch exclusive. I've missed that during the conference.
Yeah.
So looks like more skate, more, you know.
How long do you think that exclusive for? 6 months?
I honestly, I would be surprised if it was that long, considering Inside, they blew up Inside, and Inside's exclusivity was a month.
Oh wow.
So,
wow.
Real quick on the skate frontier,
Yeah.
because this is the Tony Hawk hubbub, and then
yeah.
what pro skaters do you get of Tony Hawk versus Bam Margera? Would it be surprising if Bam Margera outsells him almost 2-1 still?
Still today, yes, it'd be surprising to me, because I don't think anybody knows about Bam unless you grew up in the time of which Jackass Crew was running
CKY.
around.
See, I think it's I think Eddie's had to drop him inevitably because the Heartogram logo isn't technically his, and then I think Warner Brothers wound up picking the band him up, and then they were like, no, you can't use our logo anymore, basically.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's just I never would have anticipated Bam, who is basically he was a great skater, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but basically known for being an idiot,
Yeah.
and then Tony Hawk, who is the best skater ever,
Positive PR, positive.
Yeah.
great
everything.
dude, yeah.
Yeah.
You always associate his name with skateboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
everybody
And, like,
knows
being
who
a
Tony
good
Hawk
dude.
is. He's
Yeah.
the Mario skateboard.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is like Tony Hawk is like a cool dad,
Yeah.
like, who's like all about charity and helping
Yep.
people get out and active.
Yep.
Like,
And he
so-
wants to be
yeah,
in this scene. So
And against Bam Margera on this one too, I didn't know, like watching Jackass, I didn't know Bam Margera was a skateboarder
Yeah.
until somebody else was like, oh yeah, you can play as Bam Margera. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? Who?
Yeah.
you go around and hit people with skateboards.
Does
Is that the
does he
game?
intentionally crash?
Yeah.
continuing the trend of Japanese developers at the Microsoft conference, Devil May Cry 5 officially announced, shown a badass trailer.
Yeah,
I was a
buddy.
big fan coming
Well,
from that world.
You were mad that you saw
I
Nero
was
at first. You're like, what is
pissed.
this shit?
Pissed that
Oh.
it's Nero as the freaking main protagonist. My biggest problem with 4 is that I didn't like Nero. I don't like the one weapon thing. Like, Devil May Cry is cool because you can swap weapons, but Dante's in there. I'm okay.
Yeah.
We'll make it through. We'll make it through.
See, well, you could play as Dante too in that.
Yeah, you know what you did as Dante? You got 3 weapons, one of which is your typical sword, which is fine. You replayed every single stage you played through as Nero, which was the most frustrating thing in the world.
Yeah, that was kind
Every single same boss fight, no new enemies. Like, you're giving all these...
Then you're mad at the game, not Nero.
I'm mad at Nero.
I thought the Devilbringer was a little bit different, man.
The Devilbringer was great. They perfected it in DMC. At me. Fight me. I'm ready. I don't care if you hate Ninja Theory's DMC.
You only
That
get
game's
one weapon.
amazing.
That is awesome. I don't know why everybody gave that so much hate.
Coming off of the Heavy Metal trailer. So we get a Cuphead expansion, which is cool. It involves Miss Chalice, I believe is her name.
Yep.
I've only run into her once, so I'm really bad at that
I haven't
game.
finished the game, but I love that game. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The Delicious Last Course, and it's coming out in 2019. They said, I think they said 6 more levels and bosses and all this stuff, so it looks pretty cool.
Yep.
Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. I
Well,
promise.
these, everything's hand-drawn animation, so it's going to take them time. Plus, it's a small studio. We then had Namco Bandai announce the manga anime fighter Jump Force with a weird, it was a cool trailer, but nothing there.
It's very odd.
It looks like
so odd.
the Naruto Shippuden games
Yep.
from a gameplay perspective, but it could be fun.
Yeah.
I'm Akira.
What?
Akira, there,
Akira,
yeah. I was like, you mean
It
you
just looked
can,
like-
but he's not part of Jump.
He
He
just looked
should
like
be.
one of
He
those,
should be rolling in there with his motorcycle, killing people.
It just looked like one of those mediocre PlayStation 3 Dragon Ball Z games. To me.
Yeah,
Like that weird world perspective. I don't know. It just seemed odd.
it is really weird. Though, the Naruto Shippuden games I was referencing are actually fairly high sellers, and the quality from them is very good for people who enjoy those games.
Yep.
And this looks like more of that because Naruto's ended and they don't really have anywhere to go. So
I
here
think
they are
just
jumping
put
yours.
everything that everybody liked into a friggin' one little ball. Solid.
Following that was one of the biggest surprises, in my opinion, which was the Dying Light 2 trailer. I did not expect to see that game whatsoever.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect a sequel out of that. And
I definitely thought it was a super good game, and me and the guys I play with, we were actually pretty stoked about it. We're probably gonna pick it up.
yeah,
I think it's very odd because very similar to Rage, it just felt different than the first one.
100%.
You get the movement and that's it.
Yeah.
The first one I also thought was very weak for a lot of reasons. I thought the zombie dudes they sucked the first week worth of nights, but then after that you don't even care. You run around at night.
Yeah.
I hope they change those things. Those will be positive changes in my opinion, but it did feel very different than the first one.
Well, they were showcasing the trailer, you make different decisions if you help this black market come in, then shady people come into town. But what they didn't explain is then there's a surplus of weird weapons that are more powerful than what you would find beforehand.
Yeah.
And so you have easier access. And the water is being sold in the area, so you get that money, which allows you to buy better weapons.
Yeah.
But if you go with the people who are the enforcers, more like the police, water's free everywhere, which means that if you're hurt, you can go find a water source and heal yourself. Plus, it means they clean up the area, so parkour is easier. So your impact is not just story-wise, but how
play
you
style.
play the game, which I
I
thought was
do
really cool.
wonder
That's
how
awesome.
many of those are going to actually happen.
Agreed. If it's 1 or 2 or 3, it's going to be a little disappointing. But if there's enough impactful
Yep.
change in the world,
Like a whole environment change. Yeah.
Exactly.
It better be enough.
That's
They
awesome.
were touting it pretty hard.
yeah, and they showed the web that we saw with Detroit Become Human trailers, where it's here's all your decisions. So
Yeah.
they have potential. I think that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So completely different than the first. I agree with you there. Of course, we got a new Battletoads tease. I don't think anybody was terribly surprised that this came out.
Yep.
It was kind of inevitable considering how much they were throwing into every game, the Shovel Knight. I don't know what their fighter series is, but they have a fighter series on
I do
Xbox.
not know.
Yeah.
Oh, and Killer Instinct.
Thank you, Killer Instinct. So, and then we got Just Cause 4 trailer that looked like Just Cause 3 with crazy ass tornadoes.
Yeah.
And a little bit better graphics.
Yeah, I mean,
For those who like Just Cause, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna like Just Cause 4.
I heard the same argument from 2 to 3, so I'm sure anybody who's in here is like, tornadoes are great. Phil Spencer ended the conference with an acknowledgement that they're working on the next console.
Yep.
And that they're working on game streaming.
Yep.
So those 2 things were referenced. We don't know what this actually means. You can add to the pizza bet in any form if you'd like. I think this stipulation means 2020 is the likelihood here.
I think 2020 is the absolute latest.
I don't disagree. There
Because
are some
I
people.
think the way that they set that up, it is. The only reason I say that is because the way they teased the X. The X was 2 years after they shown, or 2 years after they said Scorpio was being worked on.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's at the latest. I still think there's a pretty good chance they may pull the trigger next year.
Yeah.
Because we're to the end of the conference, which is why I felt this whole conference to me was
Holding pattern.
them basically throwing in the towel of this gen and being like, hey, this is gonna get you through the end of this gen, but next time
We're going to hit you in
Yeah.
the face.
I don't disagree, and I feel like a lot of people felt that way. I think it's interesting because of how we've talked before the show, but they just released the X this past November, or October, or whatever the date is. This seems, if they turn around next year and they release one, I feel like there are going to be plenty of people who are going to be burned.
chanting Sega.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. So I don't think they can do it that quickly. I think 2020 makes the most sense. Some people are saying 2021. I was like, you're out of your mind if you think 2021.
See, what's crazy to me as well is from what we've heard since that announcement, and I guess the murmurings and the leakings and whatnot, is I don't recall the name. I sent it to you earlier.
Yeah, it was. That doesn't matter.
Stuff's been asked, but whatever. Apparently, it is a family of consoles.
Yeah.
It is not a singular console, which is why I think that it may make sense with the X.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to have to go reverse compatibility. There's no way they can't do
No.
that.
Right. Well, especially if their whole thing, their whole spiel has been reverse compatible with every Xbox family.
And I think that what they'll do is I think they're going to maybe next year release the entry level one. And then similar, just be like, hey, these are the 3 different models. There's like a base spec, a mid spec, and high spec. Go on, do your thing.
Okay. Thank God we're going
You
our bets
think
with
they're going
PS5.
to go all? You think they're going to go all up?
That makes it easier.
Yeah. Well, I just think that, especially with the family of systems, I think they're going to go more or less powerful.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. When I read that, I heard, hey, this is Xbox 360 Arcade, Xbox 360, where there's one that's more like better memory or storage, like those kinds of specs. I imagine they're going to do the similar thing where instead of waiting 2 years or 3 years to release an X variation, it's going to be, here's the one that's the big bad brother. He's got everything you can want in it. It's got all the bells and whistles, $800, or you get the base model, $400. We make the game for the base model, it upscales to the big bad one.
Yep.
That's what my thinking is.
Well, I was going to say, we had that conversation before about, like them trying to get the jump maybe on Sony as a strategy sort of thing. Yeah. The way that I could almost see this going is maybe them releasing sort of the mid and low tier, or like a mid and a really high tier or something like that. Something that Sony wouldn't really achieve, or maybe or up front may not do. Mm-hmm. Then when Sony comes out, release another console to match them.
We'll see.
I think they might get the jump on them and then release hold back on another one.
See,
whenever that comes out.
I think that saying that though without having anything to back it up though is like Sony is now like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think they're worried in the
Sony
right now.
with the PS4 versus Xbox One, it was like Sony took the leap of faith and they won. But like it could have easily been Sony took the leap of faith and Xbox been like, hey, do the X now, screw the One. Screw that idea, but they wanted to do the DRM and the digital and all that stuff. For better or worse, they took that path. But now it's like Sony, the ball is in Sony's court, and they can retaliate however they so please.
I agree 100%.
And they can just be in January of next year, be like, this year, deal with it. Good luck.
I would be greatly surprised, but I agree 100%. So in the middle of this little outro where we're getting this tease, all of a sudden, cut to black, command prompt, and it leads into Cyberpunk. I always want to say 2020.
Yeah.
Because that's my vision. 2077, all cinematic trailer, which was a great little tease. Did not realize they had gameplay at the show until afterwards. And it's not just a little bit of gameplay. Yep. Anybody who sat down had 50 minutes worth of gameplay with this.
Really? If you haven't seen it, you should totally check it out.
It looks super cool.
Yep.
Their emphasis has been, this is a hardcore RPG with shooting mechanics, not a shooter with RPG mechanics.
And that's why I'm so curious about it, because I adore The Witcher, but I hate the combat. Which is why if this game just gives me that level of storytelling and world with a combat system, like maybe a shooter that I prefer more, I'm just insta-sold.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs. Honestly, I could better equate this to Watch Dogs in the way that it looked. Not sucking. That would be perfect.
Yeah. I did not realize this because I didn't play The Witcher 3, though I probably should because I enjoy that fantasy element and storytelling. And I read the first Witcher book. It was very good. I like that world. But at some point in time, spoilers for Witcher 3, I'm sure you don't care. Apparently, at some point in time, Geralt gets transported to like a desert alien planet. And then Ciri gets transported, and she regales him with a story of being in a place where people have metal in them, and they don't ride horses, and also. So I'm very, very curious to see if there is some hidden quest about coming into and finding Ciri.
Well, does that mean that a lot of the stuff from Witcher might actually still be available in Cyberpunk?
I think there might be hints at it, much like in Elder Scrolls and Fallout. There's like cross-pollination of like different items or things that they talk about. So. I thought it was really cool, but it was a great send off.
Yep.
Overall, solid conference. Microsoft, I think, got an A for me because I was a little upset with a couple of like minor announcements on their part because I feel like again Halo announced too early, but the studio get the potential that holds, and then just the sheer amount of games we saw with very little talking. I completely left out the double fast download whatever because that awkward moment was terrifying. Yeah.
Stupid.
I recall
the name.
Yeah, I know.
What is it? Fast load.
Yeah, fast load.
Fast load.
Yeah.
What?
They talked about how they have doubled their download speeds.
And it's a new feature coming to the Xbox, and it's called Fast Load. It lets you load the game.
Had the
40%
most
faster.
awkward woman who didn't know
What?
how to talk. She was waiting for applause, and I was like, no one's going to applaud that. Just move on.
Terrible.
With that in mind, A-.
No.
See, mine, if you don't have Dying Light and you don't have Cyberpunk, it's a hard D.
Wow, really?
But I'm going to go with C just because it's a sequel fest, and that's what sucks to me. Nothing new. Like you said, minus Dying Light and Cyberpunk, what didn't you expect? We knew Battletoads, we knew Halo, we knew Gears.
Yeah.
We knew the studio
Metro
acquires,
Exodus?
We knew that was coming. We just didn't know who was going to show it.
Yeah. I think the reason why it's so high for me is because not only did they have some good announcements, because there's good games in there despite them being sequels, but they had a lot of surprise announcements I didn't expect at their show. And not only that, there were quite a few in there that we didn't see anywhere else, which was surprising in and of itself. Yep. Quite a few we saw elsewhere as well, but...
Right. That was my thing of more of like, most of the stuff there was like, it was sequels, it was things that by and large we expected, maybe not at their conference, either Sony's or Ubisoft's or whoever else is. Like, we expected pretty much everything there. They didn't show us anything like... They didn't show me any reason to buy that system.
Yeah.
No part of that said buy an Xbox One. To me, that said we're getting ready for next generation.
Yeah.
It was not this year at E3. This is what you should do for the next year. It was, hey, we're taking an L this year, but 2 years we'll be there.
Not a whole lot new, but better of the same.
Exactly. That's what.
2 years.
I know, isn't it interesting? I know. What about you? What's your grade?
I'll give them an A. I thought it was a solid presentation. Like you said, the sheer content of games. Not to mention they're making bigger moves to try to better the platform. You know, and I like that idea. I think they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Solid B. Mainly just because they are moving towards the future. I see them setting up for it. Super, super smart on their part, but at the same time, very little control over what they own. Everything else has been like, oh, this is what we're sharing. This is what's going on. Almost everything there is what everyone else has. And they're just kind of like, we got this stuff too. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's good to know. I mean, thanks for giving us some good trailers.
That's what kills me though. It's like so many people were tweeting about it during the show. It's like, oh, look at all these great games I want to play on my PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like, cool. Why do I want to buy an Xbox? Halo and Gears.
Do they get bonus points for not having a musical performance? Because I think they should get bonus points for not having a musical performance.
For me, I think easily the best actual conference. But to me, like in terms of games, like I said, like how many of those are you going to buy an Xbox for any of those games?
No.
Would any of those even try to convince you to buy it?
No.
Your only shot is Gears and Halo.
Yeah.
Halo 6 can be played on PC, can it?
We don't even know. It's probably 2 years out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the whole.
And then what about
Gears? Yeah, it probably will because they said everything is coming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool. Why should I buy your system?
I'll play on PC.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, them selling games on PC is still them selling games.
Yeah.
It just means they're not selling hardware, which I think is the shift they're trying to make, which is why they want that streaming service to be such a big deal.
I do think one of the lead guys at Ubisoft did say this pretty recently, talking about like the next generation should be the last of consoles. Then streaming will be.
Yeah. It's the
I think that's
CEO.
wishful thinking.
It depends. It truly depends on infrastructure and how well they get. Because technology can beat infrastructure if they can get the streaming down pat in a way that they can transport that data fast, accurately, without lag.
Just to clarify, we're talking about like a GameFly type streaming service,
No,
or
we're talking like you don't have a PlayStation, you just play it on your TV like Netflix.
Correct.
Oh, really? Oh, that's kind of cool.
See, the thing with that is, I think that although his is ambitious, I still think like super nerds are going to want consoles because it's still going to be zero latency. It's still going to be air quotes better. But I do think that it's very valuable for casual people.
We can bring up the this in a conversation later in the episode
absolutely.
Because I definitely want to talk more about what this future would look like.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Moving on to Bethesda's conference, which was later that evening. They opened with
Andrew WK.
Andrew WK, which I like his music, or did when I was growing up, but what a painful performance.
Yeah.
Because they showed Rage on top there. He comes out and sings. Nobody in the crowd gives a shit.
Nope.
And like what they showed on screen was literally just characters from Rage splashing on color, splashing on like no gameplay.
Yeah. To me, the funniest part, and the way that like I guess ominous of a lot of that conference, the actual presentation, is whoever the main dude is walks out on stage and he's got a sport coat on, and underneath he has a Washington Capitals who just won the Stanley Cup in hockey. He opens it up and smiles, and there is nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like anyone is like, oh, yeah, Capitals. It's just like, who is that? What is that shirt?
Yeah,
and then that comes out, and it's just everyone is still just like, what is this?
Yeah.
Are we at a game conference?
Now we know that Rage 2 wouldn't have been the opener if that leak wasn't out.
It depends on who you believe, because they swear up and down they had started teasing before the Walmart leak. The day before is when they started teasing Rage 2. Walmart leak happens. They said their original plan was to announce Rage 2 out on the 24th of May, which they did. And that was the whole point, was so that when people got to the conference, they weren't surprised by the sudden shift.
Why the hard push on Walmart to be like,
I think it was just poking fun at it.
It's probably the best joke of the whole conference.
Oh, it was fantastic. That was hilarious. Oh my god.
Other than the Square Enix show, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So Rage 2 was shown, and it left everyone at the table
I'm interested.
Confused.
Underwhelmed is what
Really?
I felt.
I was excited for the first one, and I enjoyed the first one. And this is not at all like the first one.
That's
It's
why I like
let's
it.
have let's have superpowers and.
It feels
Feels like a dumbed down version of what's that GTA?
It feels like Brink fused with Rage. Is exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like a more realistic, less interesting version of Borderlands.
Yeah, but
that's kind of like Borderlands-esque.
I don't walk around like an Iron Man.
No, but
At
I mean, you
least,
have characters with different abilities and stuff. Like
It's like throw down a turret or call a wild bird.
the superpower, I don't think was that extravagant.
It was just very odd. It was very movement. It was definitely like a very Call of Duty circa 2015 movement.
Plus neon colors.
Plus neon
Plus
colors.
neon colors,
Yeah.
but not even a whole lot of neon. It was a super muted gameplay.
That's what makes
Like
no
that's
sense.
what was
I don't
so
understand
weird
why
to
their
me.
whole branding is neon, which wasn't at all in this first game. Just
No.
throwing this out here.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
I really just feel like this is a shell of like they're like, oh, Rage people know, let's make a new game.
Why bother doing that if you weren't going to
I
put
don't
the
know.
effort into it though? Because
The
it wasn't a
branding
very
is
well
totally
received game
different.
to begin with.
Although easily, real quick, best pre-order.
Oh, absolutely,
Ever.
absolutely.
Not even close.
Wall-mounted talking mutant head. You
Yes.
can't beat that. I think Bethesda just has this idea that they have all these properties and they're going to find a way to make them work for them, for better or worse. Now, their parent company, ZeniMax Studio, is a ruthless business organization. They have gone after people over and over again. They've been through multiple lawsuits with John Carmack over their VR technology he was working on at the same time as Oculus. So it is very important to note that as much as we love Bethesda and Todd Howard and their studios and the fact that they do seem to put some love into what they create, their overlords are overlords.
Yep.
So whether or not that is a business decision to make this game into a sequel to Rage, or because they did the same thing with Prey, which we'll get to in a second, but like they know how to at least take their IP and utilize it to a degree. It'll be interesting to see what people think of Rage 2 on launch.
Do you think it's going to be a bad game outside of what you expected, outside of what you wanted, what they showed you? Do you think it's going to be bad?
No,
I don't think we will.
I don't think they've shown anything to make it feel unique, different, or interesting.
My issue is the first one was shallow, and I think that's the biggest issue of the first one. I think nothing other than shallowness is the issue with the first one. They still showed the car movement. You had car racing in the first one, car destruction stuff. They showed that again. That's cool. I think the depth is going to be the biggest factor. I think people like you are going to be like, cool, whatever, I don't care about the movement. Whereas like me and the 15 other people that bought the first one are like, oh, that sucks, but
Yeah.
we'll get over it.
It'll be interesting. After that, they teased Doom Eternal, sequel to Doom. Did anybody here at the table play Doom?
I wish that they would just make sequels to the 90s version.
You didn't like the new one?
I think the game to me is, I don't know. When I played it as a kid, it just felt right. And then playing the new one, it's like, this isn't right.
I enjoyed the idea of being upfront earns you health. Like, you have to be brutal to get healed. Other than that, Doom's just not a franchise that I really care a whole lot about. So
Right. I'm not really a mass killing. Like I just want to blow up some steam and kill everything kind of guy. It's not like that.
I love the music in Doom because it's just heavy shredding guitar. What are your opinions?
I wish I had more time to play it.
You can play it on Switch.
No,
Take it with you.
I thought about it. I think as a VR experience, it's going to be a little intense.
Nauseating.
Yeah.
Huh?
Nauseating.
Night shady?
Nauseating.
Nauseating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Very much so. It's just everything in your face, every moving around.
Well, no, you use teleport, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm still saying it's stuff.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, they also announced more content for Prey, who we were just talking about.
Yep.
Prey's actually getting quite a bit of updates.
Yep.
All of them coming out either during the conference or around that time period. New game plus, a survival mode, asymmetric competitive mode. Was it 5v1?
I have no idea.
Which was Typhon Hunter, which they turn into objects and you have to try and kill the
Prop
one.
hunt.
Prop hunt, which is perfect for that game
Yeah.
because of the abilities you have. And then a new DLC called Moon Crash, which will be coming out eventually. It's more rogue-like-ish.
Yep.
I think it's weird that they waited a whole year for this stuff.
Yeah, everything was so quiet with it. I was like, when I heard this, I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like, no one's talking about it anymore. No one cares anymore. Like, are you sure this was, like, the right move?
Similar to Rage 2, they teased something was happening last month, but I can't imagine New Game Plus took them an entire year to program. Why was that not done in an update earlier? Survival mode or Typhon Hunter, like, maybe they took longer, but if you're getting one done as the other comes out, just slowly roll those updates out. Keep them in the... Because I forgot about Prey until the tease came out, and people were like, oh, they're teasing them. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. More DLC came out in the form of Wolfenstein Youngblood, which was funny because they did Wolfenstein the Old Blood. Doesn't matter. Involving B.J. Blazkowicz's twin daughters in Paris in 1980. Which I think my favorite thing that I've heard about this is, other than people are excited who like Wolfenstein, they're very excited for this, but is the B.J. Blazkowicz, like the Blazkowicz just can't win. Like at the end of Wolfenstein 2, they've sacrificed all of this, the kids are bored, they defeat the Nazi overlords, and they're still around in the 1980s. So, but I think it looks interesting from the little bit we got. I'd be curious to see if you get to like swap between the two characters. Is there some gameplay differences? Are you playing one over the other?
Co-op?
Or is it co-op? Like any one of those
co-op.
things. That'd be
Buddy.
really cool. Yeah.
Yep.
They also announced that Wolfenstein and Prey are getting VR titles. They went further into the Wolfenstein title, in which it's called Cybernetic. I can't remember. You're controlling the cyber wolves, the big wolf thing.
Yep.
So
I think it's very interesting how they're doing the similar setups.
yeah.
I was very terrified of that noise.
There's a big noise behind Dylan.
Yeah, I don't know. Mark looked at me and I thought it was him. And I was like,
I didn't even hear the noise.
How
I
are
don't know
you
what you're talking
making
about.
that?
I never got to play Wolfenstein. It's on my list of things after I get done with the slew of stuff I have here.
Yeah.
But I watched a lot of gameplay footage from one of our friends, so I'm actually pretty stoked to play Youngblood.
I like that Bethesda's willing to take some of their properties and generate these interesting VR titles. It's his foot. He's rubbing it.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is.
I didn't know what noise he was talking about.
I was like, is there a fucking
And that's the
song?
show, folks. We're done. They're constantly coming out with, even if they are not the same exact thing. I mean, Skyrim was Skyrim in VR.
Oh, why would they reskin that game?
We'll get to that in a second. I really like that they're going out on a limb and at least trying new things or building experiences with these, because the titles they're releasing may not be for everyone. Skyrim isn't for everyone, so having a Wolfenstein VR game or a Doom VR game is a really cool concept, at least. They're going out there and doing it.
Yep.
Fallout Shelter announced for PS4 and Switch, out now, and still free, and still getting updates. So
Downloaded it again on the phone. Playing it again.
yeah,
Yep. Fun.
you can download the
Everything
Switch.
and
buy
anything
Switch.
you wanted?
Same as it was.
Yeah.
There's pets and stuff now. That was new. Maybe that was there before I didn't notice.
And then we got the best look into Fallout 76 we have seen yet.
Yeah.
It showed what looked like traditional Fallout gameplay, except more shooter, less VATS. With people. You could play online in a server together.
Base building
Base building, a big thing.
with people nuking your stuff.
So the map was 4 times the size, and it has a bunch of shelters hidden around there with nuclear weapons. You and your friends can gather codes and nuke the world.
In 3 words or less, impressions.
Will probably play.
Intrigued, terrified, unsure.
Excited? I don't know.
This is taking longer
I'm
than if we had
excited.
just described.
I'll go with
it.
excited.
Mine was a little bit disappointing. I was
Whoa,
totally.
whoa,
Get your 3 words here,
Your
dude.
3 words. You can't create a rule that break it.
Unique, funny, and disappointing.
Okay, now go ahead.
My issue with it was that you start off, and it's like, cool, we get to play with people. I always want to do this with Fallout.
Yeah.
Oh, there's base building. That's cool. I really like to build things. A dude can just nuke my base.
That's my biggest thing. That is my number
Alright,
one thing.
I'm out.
And not just nuke your base, like nuke the surrounding area,
Yeah.
take supplies, like all of that, and it could happen at any moment.
Seemed like a 0 skill move. That's my issue.
Yeah,
So-
that me too.
If it was like, if he comes and raids my house at night, like, sure, you earned that.
Yeah.
But you press a button.
Well, and here's the worst part of my
you
game.
had to do some stuff to get that.
Yeah, I was gonna say to get the codes, it takes a little bit of skill to get there in the first place. Like,
but still, you get a free wipe of my entire life.
well, but the other thing too is based on the size of the map. I mean, whenever they showed what the nuke looked like, it didn't look like astronomically huge as far as
click plots, and it had like what people had there.
Oh, really?
It looked like it would be like the Brent Metcalf house.
Oh no
Click.
way!
I think the worst part though is that they announced at the same time that you could play with friends, but you can play this game alone, but you have to be online.
Yep.
So if you're by yourself, you could get subsequently wiped, and you have nobody to help you build your resources back up.
Yeah, that's like if you want to just experience this, like maybe cool different world, like cool, good luck.
Well,
Sorry, you're gonna get blown up.
And also, what does this have to do with the story, branching paths, quests,
like, is there
all
a reason
these things?
for it? You know?
There's got to be a way it ties together, though. I can't imagine they wouldn't.
I agree with that.
Can't just be having people shooting.
I do think they're wasting a really good opportunity on a really good vault.
I don't disagree.
Because I think the vault in itself is like, it could have cool story, cool lore, and I'm going to guess from this that there's not going to be a lot of story or lore.
I think that's what it appears in the moment, and that was what I was about to say. Is like, despite getting the most in-depth look at this game, like we've saw pretty much everything the game has to offer mechanics-wise. From an overview, I still have no idea what's going on in this game, and I'm like not sold until I hear more.
Yep. It will be my first Fallout that I have played. Not because I haven't been interested in it, but because I haven't really, like, the timing just hasn't been right for me to play these games. And they've all been very different over the years, so I'll be very interested to see how this goes.
If they put 3 New Vegas or 4 on Switch, I will play them, because I've never played a Fallout.
New Vegas, I heard, was right up my alley, so.
New Vegas, they're all cool. I haven't played 4. It's still unopened, sitting beside my PlayStation.
Seems like you're a real fan. How's that Pip-Boy working out for you?
That's set up nicely.
I think the biggest surprise was that they gave us the November 14th release date, because they teased originally in the reveal trailer it would be 2019. So, Bethesda not shying away from Red Dead.
Nope.
Not surprised. After that, we got the Elder Scrolls Skyrim Very Special Edition announced, where Todd Howard got to poke at the company for releasing Skyrim on every imaginable platform.
Funny part is, they actually did the Alexa one.
Correct. So it starts off with Keegan-Michael Key? Yeah. Talking to Alexa, pretending to play Skyrim, and at least that's what we thought. It's real. If you have an Alexa, play Skyrim Very Special Edition.
So many people are mad at you.
I'm sure they are. Don't put your Alexa so close to while you listen to
Did
this.
you confirm whether you could play it on the fridge?
No, you can't play
with
it on
the
the
wand.
fridge.
No. I have the. Oh, you mean the actual fridge or with the wand?
The one with the fridge, where he's sitting there playing it on the fridge.
No, I don't think so. But I thought it was a cute little trailer leading into the announcement of Elder Scrolls Blades, which is going to be a free-to-play, real Elder Scrolls experience on your mobile platforms and eventually on PC consoles.
Hashtag mobile take over the world.
Hashtag interested to see what comes out of it. I read some impressions today of people who have gotten hold of it at E3. Apparently, it does have some very rudimentary combat, but it's in the same vein. The world is very funneled, but it still feels very much like Elder Scrolls. The big question is, how is the story going to work? Because that is definitely... Elder Scrolls is much like Fallout. It's very good for being like, hey, we're dropping this world, and here's this main quest, or there's 1,000 other things you can do. Can you do that here?
I think if they just do the 1,000 other things, I think they're fine.
I think they'd be fine too, but I think having some sort of rudimentary quest, or hell, you just do free updates with quests, like randomly coming in. But it looks cool. I will definitely try it on mobile. And if it comes to Switch, that's where I'll play that too. If only it came to Vita.
I won't waste
Then
my
I'd play
time
it
on
there.
some mobile crap games. The most mobile I get is my Vita.
But the final announcements for the conference were a big glowing logo for Starfield, which they confirmed for next gen, and Elder Scrolls 6. No.
Elder Scrolls 6 after Starfield.
Correct.
They did make that clear.
The after Starfield, correct. And they did not give any subheading for Elder Scrolls 6. So.
And how long do you think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to have to come out? What, 4 years?
3-4 years.
Yeah, I think
so. That to me says like...
I think Starfield is at least 2.
Yeah.
I would say most likely 2. Probably not 2 falls from here. And then I would say that a year or 2 after that we'll get Elder Scrolls.
2020 just does sound good for another console.
Sounds like good for a second year's worth of good content wave. They always release the first year kind of weak.
Yeah, I definitely don't see it being a launch title for the new generation, but I could easily see it within that first 6 months coming out, that first summer.
But the thing is, Bethesda,
they
just
2.5 years from now.
They know that there's a next gen coming, and they know it's going to be out for next gen. So
what
are they talking about? Xbox, PlayStation?
They listened to the Xbox conference. That's where they got the intel.
Yeah, that's where they got the intel. I don't think anybody in any third party is not sure there's going to be a next gen. I think they're all preparing for it. It's just whether or not you have multiple studios. I think Bethesda has 3. No, they said they had 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But they only work on so many games, whereas Ubisoft has God knows how many.
I do think that back to the Xbox point as well, with the studios knowing about next gen or whatever, I think that might be a big reason why Xbox picked it up. Because it's much easier to be like, hey, here's the specs, build to this.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a little bit harder to be like, hey, everyone at Bethesda, you should build to these specs.
Maybe we'll see. I mean,
don't ask questions. Why?
From my understanding, most of like the next gen development, especially at this point, even let's say 2019 is the release date, they still don't have everything. They have a black box with an idea of what it is going to be.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But what was everyone's thoughts on Bethesda? We'll start with you this time, John.
Damn you! I give it a C minus.
C minus.
Yeah.
No justification.
Mainly just because a lot of the games that they deal with don't really pertain to me too much outside of like I was excited to see Fallout, which is why it's at a C.
Yeah.
And that's where I stop.
Yeah. Okay. I'd give it a C plus. It was much better than their conference last year. Like I really do feel the passion when Todd Howard comes out and talks about the games they're making.
Yep.
I understand when Pete, I can't remember his last, Hines, their head of their marketing department. Like I feel that they're actually excited about the games that are coming out and they're passionate about their people. This one just had so much that A, we knew about because they gave us announcements beforehand, and B, so far away that like, why should I care? I don't care about Elder Scrolls 6. Was anybody thinking they weren't going to make that game? Like that was such a lame release. It's like Halo.
Milk Skyrim a little bit more before they go up the next one that they milk all of
It reminded me so much of the Halo thing. Like we knew the next Halo was coming. Don't reveal it until there's something worthwhile.
Totally agree.
I changed my score to a C because they made an Alexa game.
I'll go with a C. It would probably be a hard D minus if it wasn't for Fallout 76. I'm actually kind of excited to see what they do with that.
Okay.
I enjoyed Fallout 3. I did not end up playing 3 or New Vegas or 4, but I'm excited to see what they do with the 76.
Okay.
If they would have given me a Fallout style game, not actually Fallout, like how they did Fallout 4, where they were like, hey, this game that you kind of thought about is here this fall, I'd have been way more thrilled, but to me it's just going to be a C.
Yeah.
Like, Starfield looks cool. That's the only thing from that whole show.
The logo looked really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, and just mentally thinking about what they're going to do with that, that's like the only announcement where I was like, cool.
Nothing better about announcement than what you think it's going to be.
My
Well, I mean, like
creativity is
you
the
said,
best.
they're like Skyrim, or not Skyrim 2, but it's
Elder
pretty
Scrolls
Skyrim.
6, yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6, like that we knew was coming. Like
Yeah.
nothing else is shocking. So it's like the Elder Scrolls game, cool, the mobile one,
Yeah.
neat.
It was just a nod to keep people at bay. Like it's fine. We're thinking about it, guys.
What made me laugh is that Starfield's been rumored for 2 years now. So this was like, it totally felt like everyone shut up. Here, we're working on it.
Yep.
Did want to point out, it is Elder Scrolls 6, not Skyrim 2. So I thought that was interesting.
I did lose on that one, didn't
Yeah. So, moving on to the most disappointing conference of the evening.
We probably cover this in like 30 seconds.
We
Yep.
100% can. Square Enix's conference. I'm going to fast fire this one. So we got Shadow of the Tomb Raider showed off new gameplay. Was anybody impressed?
No.
Nope.
It looked terrible in my
It
opinion.
did look very odd.
It looked like
We got more awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. Don't know why, but that's fine. Platinum is partnering with Square on a PS4 PC exclusive, Babylon's Fall. Looked cool.
the most exciting thing I saw.
I agree, and that partnership has been strong so far. So
Yes. I wasn't sure if there was another game that was exciting here. That's what I was thinking.
more Just Cause 4 shown off with a December 4th release date. Literally the same trailer. And then I think they might have had a minute of gameplay after that.
Yep.
The Quiet Man is shown very, very terribly in easily the worst trailer of E3. I have no idea what that game's about. Deaf man beat a bunch of people up and left a paper bag on them.
I think that was the coolest trailer from him.
I feel like
You think that was the coolest trailer?
One, we didn't see it twice. First.
Okay.
Second,
that doesn't make it cooler.
in
second,
that
like,
conference it was,
how talked about is that game because of how little idea anyone has what it's about.
and people
Or
were talking
how
about it quite a
terrible
bit.
the trailer
The
was.
trailer
It
was
wasn't
neat.
that
I don't
bad.
think it was terrible.
It was-
I thought the whole switch between live action and
It wasn't
game
great.
was okay.
It just didn't
but,
tell you
like,
what the game was, which is what the problem everybody really
You're
had.
a terrible Daredevil. That's it.
Yeah,
That poor dog that leaves dog shit on me.
I thought he was gonna light it on
I
fire.
thought he was too.
Um,
Someone's gonna stomp it out on him.
we got a new trailer for Final Fantasy XIV's Under the Moonlight update, which is exciting for MMO fans. They also announced a partnership with Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy XIV, where they will be bringing Monster Hunter stuff into 14, and then later revealed that the behemoth monster from Final Fantasy is going to be a hunt in Monster Hunter world, which is the most exciting thing to me.
I think that'd be cool.
That is really cool. We got a new trailer for Dragon Quest XI, which was cool, but without details behind it. It was just another flashy trailer. And then I left it out, but they re-showed the trailer from Xbox's conference for Kingdom Hearts 3, and then talked about a demo for Octopath Traveler coming out where the save data will carry over.
I just like that they crapped on that too. I was like...
It was the biggest disappointment because the idea that they did a Nintendo Direct style showcase of here's a 30-minute video, we're going to translate everything so you don't have to read, you can just hear our voices talking. They had I don't remember this actor's name, but he's been in a million things. His narration was on point for the entire thing, and they gave us nothing. Right. Absolutely nothing. We didn't see
so many
else.
things that they're sitting on and working on, and that we know about. They could have easily showed 5-6 more games.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But whatever, because they didn't even show the Marvel game.
Yeah. So F.
Yeah. Hard F.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of, let's see, what was it?
The Quiet Place.
No. This is the Quiet
I'll give
Place.
it F+ just for the Quiet Place.
Babylon's Fall looked actually interesting. I'd be interested to see what that comes out to be. But past that, no, it was trash.
They also revealed that Nier Automata is coming to Xbox One. I forgot about that one in here, but that was in there.
That's actually a kind of a big deal, but at the same time, I don't really care.
2.5 years too late.
Is it going to sell any Xboxes, do you think? Like 4?
Do you think it's going to sell any units is the question.
No. Especially because the Tomb Raider just looked like it was the same thing.
I just want to know who
weirder.
did the mocap for that, because it looks like the whole time, like, her face is just happy and, like, sensual almost. It's weird.
Not only that,
she's just like...
She's in mud, and instead of her feet like sinking in or making an impression, it's just clipping through the plane. And granted, these are all demos; they have time, but their time is coming really quickly because they're releasing in September. Besides the point.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Moving on to Ubisoft, which I enjoyed quite a bit. They opened with a Just Dance routine. It's the annual Just Dance routine because we see this every year at Ubisoft for the past, 4 or 5 years.
That Panda
now.
Bear killed it.
The Panda Bear did kill it. It sold my fiance on a unit, so it did its job.
Why is this still around now that we basically eradicated the Switch?
Because the Wii.
I meant the Kinect. I feel like the Kinect and the PlayStation camera were like the coolest part of it.
This game is releasing on Wii this year.
On Wii?
That's because that's where it sells the
like
most.
Like WII.
Yes. Not Wii U.
Not with a U at the end.
No. That's where it sells the most units every year.
That makes sense.
Still within the millions.
What do you... PlayStation VR, is that your option? I think
no,
VR, that could be cool.
I can tell you exactly what they do. You hold a controller and it guesses your movement based on how much
one PlayStation 4 controller.
Correct.
Just one.
Yes. Or Xbox 360.
So what requires 2 hands?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
They show you the silhouette on screen. You're supposed to fill in the silhouette.
The idea is they actually build the game around the idea that they're only going to get input from one hand.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's Just Dance. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is shown after that in a trailer that surprised me.
Freaking good.
So I found out chronologically this trailer takes place before the original Beyond Good and Evil.
I hate when they call prequels too.
I do too.
Why do you do that?
I don't know.
Because it's a prequel sequel.
The pre-sequel.
So, sequel,
No,
that's
this
what
is
prequel.
This is a pre. This is not a 2.
It's the C prequel.
Like you weren't.
It's a sequel in our reality, but it's a prequel in it. So you're giving them both.
Like if I said here's John number 2, but it's your dad, it wouldn't make sense.
What? Because my dad's not my future.
He's your past. My point.
Yeah, no, but I have my own past. I have Johnny, and I am now Jonathan, and I was John.
You made it sound like his dad was dead. It's your past.
Well, what I'm saying is like you have to look at it in the singular as the game.
Can we
itself.
argue semantics off air?
No.
Okay. So Beyond Good and Evil 2 looked gorgeous. Granted, completely CGI trailer.
Yeah, but still, that was bomb. That was like watching a movie.
Instead of 2, it should have been TOO.
Shut up. Instead of showing us a whole lot of gameplay, we got some snippets at the end while they're talking about their partnership with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's company, Hit Record. In which people can go to the Hit Record website. They can build assets for the game. This is not like 3D models, but you can build artwork, sound,
textures,
all kinds of things that will go into the game, and they're going to pay you for it.
Yep.
So
I'm going to draw stick figures until they put one of mine in that game.
It looks
I'm
cool.
totally going to try to do some of that stuff as well. I think the game itself looked freaking awesome. I'm very curious about it. I have zero knowledge of the game series.
Yeah.
At all.
Could you imagine them selling advertising space within that game?
Yes.
Like, continuously?
The Obama campaign had advertising space in, I think, one of the Burnouts or some game. Yeah.
Actually, EA did that with Battlefield 2142. There were billboards all over the place, and they would change every so often because EA would advertise one of their newest games.
That's what kills me as well
freaking
about
awesome.
the banners inside of like FIFA and stuff. Like
Super scary.
And Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, you could get Doritos and Mountain Dew as ration items.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll never play that game, so I wouldn't know.
I love that game so much.
You're safe.
So, I think it looks great. It actually, the first time they showed it, I was like, cool monkey pig flying thing, cool chick, whatever.
And the second one, you're like Cowboy Bebop.
Exactly.
Yeah, buddy.
Exactly.
what I saw.
So now I'm ready to go back and play for the first time the original because I have it on PS3. So
It's on PS3. I thought it was way before that.
it came out originally on PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, but they ported it to PS3.
Speaking of Cowboy Bebop, that set, that anniversary set, the 3 sets that you talked about, one of them is getting made.
That's awesome.
There were enough preloads, and I did buy one.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
And it was all because of you. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
We also got to see some of Trials Rising, which was a weird introduction, but also funny. I like it when they do these weird
Register
things.
for the beta.
You register for the beta. The beta's coming out. Do you know when the beta's coming out? Because I totally did
They
not
didn't
write
say.
that.
They said
Do
soon.
not. Yeah,
Okay,
They
and it's
said soon.
releasing February 2019. So
How about that
22nd.
Russian guy? Yeah, it's so
Swedish.
much energy. Swedish, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Well, I
that's why I thought it was hilarious because he was totally into
mean, he
it.
looked like a Russian bear to me.
We got the Division 2 cinematic trailer and then further details on the Division 2.
Yes.
It is coming out on March 15th. They have a year roadmap for updates and
Upfront.
story packs, all of which will be free. There's going to be 3 major story packs that are also going to add portions to the map.
Would you rather all of that come day one?
No.
You'd want it every year.
Yes.
I don't mind it over here because
It gives me an idea. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You and I are on the same wavelength here.
So it gives us time to finish something and have an end game to be like, all right, we finished this. This is what we wanted to do. We platinum the game. It's separate. We know it's going to be separate from the DLC. Like, it's cool. I don't have to worry about things bleeding. And then on top of that, like, we have this definitive date. We know we need to finish this by. It helps kind of organize it because Division is so tight when it comes to the leveling system, when it comes to damage and enemies, that you want to be on top when you're going forward. And if you're planning on playing PvP at all, you have to be on top of your game. I'm still looking for this gun to show. My God.
Not only that, you know me fairly well. I don't like playing a whole lot of online games.
Yep.
I don't like playing even cooperative, where we had a blast with Division. By the time we finished Platinum, the first Division, I was done. And so having an endpoint to jump off and then having something to bring me back in so we can experience it again with some new content, I'm totally down for.
I mean, it was like refresh. It was breath of fresh air. You weren't downtrodden. You can go play something else for a little bit, and then, bam, you're right back into it, and it's like, just feels so
gives you a
good.
reason to pick up something that you really loved the first time
Yeah.
and come back to it.
Normally,
Absolutely.
All
DLC
new
doesn't
things.
do that for me. Normally, DLC annoys me.
Really?
Yeah, because I like to finish things usually when I'm working on it. Like, if I'm working on a game, I like to try to finish the game. If I have to go back to it, it's relearning things, having to go back and remember stuff, especially if it's story heavy.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like the way Zombies handles DLC, I really enjoy because it's more kind of like a surprise almost. Like there's a zombie season every year.
Yeah.
You just don't have any context of it. It's not like outlined. Like I know it's coming, whatever. Whereas like actually seeing like the plan and whatnot, like I don't know, it's just very odd. It's like knowing what you're getting for Christmas.
There was no release date, though. It was just saying, like, hey, there's 3 and they're coming out.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with that assessment, but I do like the fact that we have a
I'm
promise.
glad they're supporting it for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and
Hopefully the launch isn't
terrible.
A botch, like the first one.
Yeah, but I mean, with their track record with Siege and For Honor, like they've
And
done
the
a
fixing
very
of Division 1.
yeah, like I think they're doing a good job of upkeeping those
Yeah.
things. So I'm excited. The gameplay looks solid. They also talked about a new progression tree once you've reached level cap that you can specialize in, which has me super excited.
Yes, very
So,
much so.
there's just more carrots at the end of the stick, and it doesn't feel like I've gotten to the end of the stick and this is it.
Well, the enemies are so different too. Like you have like your normal heavies, but you've got things like I'm going to shoot this dude in the leg to disable him longer, and then final blow to the back of the head.
It also feels like instead of being a bullet sponge that doesn't change, like pieces
Yeah.
of armor are falling off, so it feels a little bit more like it's good feedback for the brain. You don't feel like you're just shooting at him for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one issue I've always had with games like that, especially the Division, like that style. It's more of like, it's just disheartening when you see a guy who's like a 15 versus a guy who's like an 8. It's like you're the same dude. You just have a different number beside your head.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit odd. It's like, oh, that guy takes 30 shots, that guy takes 1.
It's funny because I grew up playing JRPGs, and that's like the thing they do,
Yeah.
except they just make them a different color. I think it's funny that nowadays they're like, screw it, it's just a different level. Like, it's a higher level.
But a different bar color.
Yeah, like the skin, it's not an actual skin change like they used
Like, to me, it could just be easy. Like, this guy's like the infantry guy. This guy's like a level 10 recruit. But not like actually just say the number 10.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's in basic military fatigue. This guy's in like some crazy digital camo.
But after Division 2, we got another concert with Mario plus Rabbids Donkey Kong DLC.
Much better done.
Much better done, but no gameplay shown. It just showed a bunch of in-game assets, which look gorgeous.
Right.
But
I expect to see more for Nintendo.
if
And-
you're showing
Oh, no.
this,
I'm sorry.
you should be showing gameplay.
Yeah. But then what the important thing here is, after the awesome gun that they gave last year, little
Yes.
guns.
They announced Starlink. They once again we start talking about that Battle of Atlas. It looks like they're going to keep the Toys to Life thing, and for the Switch you get Star Fox, Star Fox DLC. So Star Fox was there on the Ubisoft stage. It was there, kind of, not the
And then
same
that
degree as
weird
expected.
Your from
award,
left field
like-
prediction suddenly came true.
He
Like,
gave the gun last year, which was awesome, and then they gave the first version of the Star.
No, you're right. It was cool, but at the same time, the guy who's, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna throw it.
Yeah, Miyamoto.
Oh my
They gave it
God.
to Miyamoto, which was a nice, touching moment. I think if they were trying in some way to replicate last year's, it just didn't have the same swing, but it was still cool. We also got to see a better view of Skull and Bones, which looks far more fleshed out this year.
Yeah, it looks like they definitely brought it back and made some changes based on the stuff they saw with Sea of Thieves. And
How much did that impact your care meter?
So more so than I thought, because originally my biggest qualm was that I couldn't get off the boat. But watching how the gameplay worked, how quick these battles were, and how it kind of seems a little bit more of, because you're doing this main thing, it's not 20 minutes of a boat battle, I'm ready to get off the ship. It's, okay, you're going to work with friends, you're going to take on battles here or there, you're going to be doing a little bit of map manipulation as you roll around trying to collect things. Like, I was actually kind of excited about it, especially the sequence where they dressed up as like a merchant ship to sneak by the base. I thought that was totally clever.
sales,
I'm really hoping it's going to be kind of like Black Flag with like the Black Flag sailing with the Uncharted 4, like you know how you went through the mountains and kind of did stuff. I wish it would be like that. Perfect. Looking for treasure, doing like just fun things.
Huge open world, tons of content.
Yeah.
If it's Sea of Thieves with base building, I'm good. If
Okay.
there's no base building on the island,
Oh, there's got to be base building because they have it. They have
With
like,
a hub. You have a hub. I don't know whether or not you can
Exactly,
put that wherever
that's
you want.
exactly how I felt about Sea of Thieves, and then you just go to a little place and turn in stuff.
So we'll see. I think it looks better, more fleshed out than last year. I'm more excited for
Also,
it.
still not on board the QTEs.
I'm not against your opinion there.
I was like,
Sea
not
of
against
Thieves
it,
was
what?
more worried about coming out first than I think they were about making sure they had the right
I think it was
product.
about
And I think Skull and Bones was like, no, we're going to do this right.
I think it was about the fact that
Keeping the
Microsoft,
lights on, yeah.
it was like Microsoft showed it over and over and over again. And they had to release it.
Yeah.
Well, you got what you got.
Hey, sold a lot of copies.
We got a second look at Transference, which is that creepy VR game that involves Elijah Wood's little production company. However, it also appears that it's no longer strictly VR, because it was originally coming out PSVR only. Now it's going to be on all platforms, but you can play it in VR. I don't think they said PC, and if they did, I definitely did not see an Oculus or Vive Lego. So
Sign me up for getting peed on again.
it actually didn't look that terrifying. So many people came away from that like, that looks creepy. I was like, it looks creepy, but it doesn't. There are others that I think look way creepier.
Yeah.
That's like the do you want to pee a lot or do you want to pee a little?
Exactly, just a
Still
little bit.
You
Just a little
definitely
bit.
have to pee before
You
you
just
play
wear
the
that
game.
thick pair of boxers, you know?
Yeah.
Just absorb
So
it.
it's
Like a tampon.
Adult diapers. I gotta prep.
We got to see the
That's-
crew too.
Whoa.
The crew too.
Seals in the flavor.
The crew 2 is coming out on June 29th, I think is what they said,
Yeah,
with the
with
beta on June 21st.
Signed up.
Beta for
Yeah.
a week.
So I
Couldn't care less.
don't think that I liked the vibe of the first one where it was very much like you're a street racer, you're trying to earn points, reputation, you're going from place to place. This whole, like, we talked about this before, where this whole, like, you're going to do everything. You're a stunt driver. You're an airplane pilot. Just totally negates anything I would like in this.
The whole issue is, like I said before, like, to me, that is a part of another game.
Yeah.
Like, that is a subset of GTA.
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah. Especially with GTA Online rolling out content like that all the time.
Yeah.
GTA minus some other abilities you would normally have in the game.
Yeah. They showed a new expansion for Honor, which has Marching Fire. They're bringing in the Mongol Empire or the Chinese Empire. I feel like I'm being slightly racist by not remembering which empire it was, but they're in there. It looked totally cool.
Is that racist?
They're
You're not a historian.
talking about more updates and upgrades to their system going on. I think that they're just killing it with this. Like
I'm definitely very glad they're supportive. I don't care at all about the game.
I don't either, but it's cool seeing so much love go out to it.
I thought it was dead. And then they said this.
I mean,
and
it's
was
definitely
like,
died.
why?
I would like to see. I don't know if they publish this anywhere because once again they don't use Steam because they hate it. I would like to see how many active players it has.
Yeah.
Because like I know my roommate and then a few other people all purchased this game at launch and he was happy about it, but I haven't seen him play the game in a year.
Yeah.
Versus like how many people actually play the game. I know they just switched to dedicated servers, so
That
maybe there are people playing it. I don't know.
Well, and that's completely contrasting Rainbow Six Siege, in which they talked about the numbers, 35 million players.
Blowing up.
They talked about a brand new documentary series coming out, some small adjustments to the game.
Crazy Pro Scene happening soon on a TV channel. I'm pretty sure they're partnering with.
Yeah, I think so too. I
I
can't remember
kept
off the top
hearing
of my head.
Rainbow Six Siege in the background of things, but I didn't think it was getting that big.
It is surprising how much that game has grown. And it, once again,
because they talked about the release numbers. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yep,
Ubisoft once
35
again
million.
is selling this like crazy. They continue to sell within the top 10 every month, and nobody recognizes it because they just are paying attention to the new thing. So they're killing it. And finally, the last big announcement they gave would be Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yep.
So, John, why don't you give us your impressions being the big Assassin's Creed fan here at the table?
I think it looks freaking gorgeous. I'm a little concerned with how they're going in the story because it's supposed to be, I mean, most Assassin's Creeds are you were reliving through DNA with the actions in life, and now they're talking about you're kind of making your way through history. I'm like,
So, the woman from Origins is back. You are reliving her relative.
okay.
So it is that same concept. It's just before the origin of the Brotherhood.
Yeah, no, and I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that in general, it was just like that was the premise of it, and now like there's no hidden blade, and it just seems like very like archaic, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I like that. Like I like the hidden blade aspect of the game. That's what I use the most. I think in Brotherhood, I actually was fighting with it when I thought I had a sword, but I just kept using it. So I was an idiot.
To be fair, the last Assassin's Creed I played was Assassin's Creed 2. However, looking at the gameplay of that versus Assassin's Creed 2, it seems like that was much less of the climb on stuff, do stealthy things, jump down to people, kill them, or kill a bunch of people in a crowd and then walk away like nothing happened. You know, like it seems like you have less of that. Because I mean, the big selling point with the first Assassin's Creed was the big crowd thing.
Yeah.
You know, like the ability to move around in the crowd and hide or plain sight, basically. But I feel like I got a lot less of the stealth side of things with this, and this is much more of go in, kill things, do stuff, and then leave.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I'm sorry, but what I really meant by like the whole like the history thing was like you're choosing to do certain things within the game that affect history. And I'm like, normally you follow a fairly linear path when you're doing the campaign stuff, but now you can say, hey, I'm not going to help this person, I am going to help this person. And I'm like, that's kind of different, like just veering off what it used.
I think it'll be interesting because I still think you're going to have, like, this character did this story. It's just going to be like Telltale's. They're a coloring book where how you got from point A to point B is going to differ.
Slightly differing paths of maybe smaller details.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just don't know how much I like that.
So I do think as someone who plays no Assassin's Creed, because I do not care at all, this is one that I actually play. Like the combat and whatnot actually looks cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like normal, like you said, like let me climb to the highest thing and jump off something
like
because it's
that
hyper realistic and land in a hay bale.
I like that though.
I'm super excited because the couple of things I've read from interviews and people playing the game is Origins, because it went into that RPG realm, you lost the ability to one-hit kill. In this game, there's enough gear sets and abilities that could actually make it so you can one-hit kill again, stealth-wise.
Yeah.
So you get that aspect back. I'm a big fan of that. The branching story path actually is kind of exciting to me. I like the dialogue choices and the fact that you get to choose your sex, the character you play as.
Yep.
The major thing that I think they're doing here, which could be a turning point, for the better or worse, is very controversial for Assassin's Creed fan, which is you get one of the ancient artifacts.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
That is something that is considered dangerous. There's a whole storyline about this ancient civilization and how it works in the modern day, and they've seemingly dropped that until recently. And to see them get back to that and have that impact gameplay has me excited, because if it works well in this game, they can't drop ancient artifacts from now on. I want that ability in these games. So, plus, it looks like there's real mythology mixed in here. Unlike the Origins, they dabbled in it where they were like, the Animus is messing up. Now, Sobek, the crocodile god's around. This looks like there's actually going to be like, a Gorgon, a Minotaur.
Yeah, that did look cool.
So I'm really excited for this one.
Yep.
Greece is my time period too. I love mythology and everything in that field. So
Can't cut the horn off a Minotaur.
can never cut the horn off a Minotaur. So overall impressions of the conference.
I would say B+.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they had a good slot of games. There was not too much slowdown in their announcements. The games they have, I'm actually interested in for the most part, especially the big ones. There was at least a 15-minute interval where I was like, I could play that. I could play that. I could play that. And that I haven't seen up until that point.
I'll flip to the other side of that. I'll give them an A-.
Nice.
Presentation was great. This was the only conference I actually sat through and I was like, I'm gonna pre-register for that, and I'm gonna pre-register that bit, and I'm pre-register for that bit, because that sounds good, and that sounds good, and that
A
sounds
lot
good.
more
Like,
interaction.
I'm actually really excited to see what they're doing with all that.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Actually, it's somewhat relevant, but I wasn't certain if we would be able. The audio's still going, so there's gonna be.
Okay. We're adjusting the camera, folks.
Yeah.
The SD card's over.
It's not
The batteries are dead.
Yes, that is it.
Oh, I figured out.
I need to get
I'm a professional.
Powered battery, but
While he's doing it, I always thought it was interesting how divisive it was that the ancient civilization storyline in Assassin's Creed. There's so many people I hear all the time talk about, like, just get rid of it. I just want that exploration.
Really?
I just want to sit there.
I can see why.
I get it.
It's because
I don't know if that stopped or not, so I just did that. I'm sorry.
it's just because of the way it's so convoluted.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to have to think about it, and I don't want to think about it. Just give me the gameplay, and I'll be happy.
And I think this is the perfect time to streamline it. It seems like they were heading that way in Origins a bit.
Yeah.
So
I
if
agree
they
with
can
that.
continue in that direction with Odyssey, I'll be excited.
I wish they didn't go too deep into lore, that they confused themselves.
Yeah, I
That
don't
would've been
disagree with
great.
that either.
But
To be fair, Odyssey's announcement has actually prompted me to go back and purchase all the previous games to
Nice.
start the replay.
Nice.
be careful.
My ranking is going to be a B, only light on the releases of things that I wanted and announcements and whatnot. However, I really adore their continued support of things, and I wish more developers would do that.
Agreed.
Just
Free support. That's the key. Is like almost everything they've announced has not cost anybody.
How do you guys feel about the free Division 2 DLC?
I think it's gonna be fine as long as they did what they've done with this last update.
I'm very curious because I do feel as if that's going to lean towards needing some type of microtransactions. Because at the end of the day, this does cost a lot of money. I feel like Division 1 was more of like, hey, this is a mulligan, which they had DLC in it, which you could pay for.
Yeah.
But I think it was more of like, hey, we really screwed the pooch on this one. Here's some stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I feel like it's a lot of people are going with the freemium model, so.
Yeah.
Well, it could be also that they're just worried that they're going to lose a lot from what they had from Division 1, and they're trying to gain back some trust, but it's still going to cost them a shit ton of money just to get that.
Yep. By the same token, they can lean on other games, though. Assassin's Creed is going to be a perfect one for them to lean on. It's a single-player based game. There hasn't been a multiplayer aspect to any of them, has it?
There has, but not in the recent ones.
No.
But
Brotherhood.
also, Assassin's Creed comes out in October. I just did not put a release date down. So.
Yeah.
But they could very easily lean on Assassin's Creed
Got it.
because Assassin's Creed's going to have very little maintenance cost. As far as that goes, like you don't have to pay for the servers or pay for more servers or pay to
They're
run
going
the
to have to
servers.
pay for updates because they have to update that thing all the time.
I think the key here, though, you have to remember is the Rainbow Six.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rainbow
Okay.
Six.
That model, because that's what they've done is over the past 3 years they've just re-released the game with all the content packaged together for $40.
But to me, like, that game, though, makes sense because they churn money in it. Because, like, they release new people, like, you don't have to pay for them. Or you can spend $5 a new guy or whatever. Whereas like with the Division and other games, they can't really do that. I think also with the impending new console generation as well, I think the price of video games will most likely go up relatively soon.
It needs to.
Well, just because like for example, you say the maintenance cost isn't for Assassin's Creed that bad, like voice acting and all the mocap and everything like that, like that's going to be expensive to make. The game's margins are definitely closing.
Yeah.
Plus Division giving free DLC, you're now paying those developers for an extra year.
Yeah.
I will say, after going back and putting in Division again, because you can earn some stuff to take over, not really too much of a fan on the PvP. It had a lot. It was very lackluster. I am worried that if they do try to bring that back in Division 2, I hope it is better. Though I do see, better gameplay in general, so there's hope.
Are you talking Dark Zone or their new PvP?
Their new PvP. It's called Skirmish.
Yeah.
If they translate what they're doing in-game to the PvP, if they do introduce it, that'll be fine. But if they're doing, you're playing with your friends, you can buy better gun sets, that kind of thing, but it has nothing to do with PvP. Totally cool. I think I would probably actually delve into that because that would expedite gameplay for us, which would be kind of important.
Because you play to win, and you can't beat brand, normal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens and how that cost affects, but I feel like they're not dumb. They're a smart company.
Yeah.
They've handled all kinds of outside influences to protect themselves and monetary issues. So
while creating these games,
they're making the money somewhere. So it'll be interesting to see what sales numbers come out of that. Coming on to the final conference for Monday evening is
and that's our
Sony's
show.
conference.
Let's actually go downstairs and film this down there.
I think it's a good idea. That's great. No,
Okay.
We'll go down there. We'll have a 15-minute interlude. We'll come in. The joke, ladies and gentlemen, you'll find out as we discuss the conference. I want to go ahead and jump into the first part of it, in which Sean Layden introduced everyone into this weird church-like environment. I've heard.
Who, by the way, compared to himself.
Yeah, brought out the reference to the, I almost said the Golden Circle. Kingsman.
Kingsman, yes.
Where there's a sequence where everyone gets gutted in a church. Like, the worst joke you could have possibly made.
Thanks for coming. No, I'll die.
So, I actually listened to a couple of podcasts about this, including Jeff Kanata on his podcast, DLC, and he was discussing how, as the press pool, they had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
They were funneled into this area. There were 6 pews up front, which people bum rushed to. He could not get to one. He could reach out and touch one, but he could not get to one. And then Sean Layden came out and started giving a speech about how over the next hour they're going to be discussing these games. It's LA. They're incredibly hot because the tent has no ventilation. And they're sitting here going, are we going to be standing to watch these games for the next... And then they brought out the composer from The Last of Us who played a song for about 6 solid minutes. In a black hoodie, in which we all expected gameplay to appear on screen, in which gameplay did not appear on screen. And then the gameplay trailer started. The best trailer of E3. I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
The solid,
Second best, but continue.
Yeah, agreed.
we can talk about that. I adore the opening setup where we get to learn a little bit more about Ellie and actually seeing a functioning society in this world, cutting to her just utter struggle in this sequence. We're going to see some amazing gameplay of her crawling, going prone for one, made me so excited. I was like, I can go prone in this game.
Yeah.
And then you can shoot while prone. You can go underneath cars while prone.
I mean, interactive, super interactive.
She's grabbing items while running. She's using human shields more dynamically than before because you get it in the first game. But this one, you can do a quick turn so you can cover your back real quickly. Crafting arrowheads, so you have different arrowheads. It looks like there's a silencer in there. Moving in between shelving while you're in the like everything about it.
Yeah.
AI looked fairly intelligent, even with the dialogue, which was really cool.
Yeah,
Correct.
I do wonder heavily how much of those are set pieces.
Yeah.
Versus how much of those is kind of like on the fly or like just random events or whatever.
Yeah.
Combination of the two.
Exactly, and that's why I kind of wonder what the balance actually is. And then I'm also really curious as well. Like, one, the game looked really good. It looked very similar to like how when we first saw the Division with the Snowdrop engine, of like walking alongside a car and shutting the door. Like the environment feels very interactive like that. But then when you play the Division, you don't really notice those things.
It reminded me more of when they first showed off Uncharted 4. Like, the look, the feel, all of that gave me that same vibe. And if it's that, it's fine.
Yep.
Like, I think they did a solid job.
To me, that looked like a whole other level.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you were talking about like what part of that is maybe like on rails versus full control. You were talking about the HUD piece specifically. I guess for how much noise you're making. I don't think I ever saw that disappear.
No.
So honestly, if it's a fully interactive environment in that sense of like maybe it pushes you to certain directions, to try to guide you in a certain way, that's cool. But like if the environment interacts with you, if the AI interacts with the fact that you've crawled underneath a vehicle like that, versus not, like, awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm on board. I'll honestly, that'll make me consider buying a PlayStation, play the first one, and then.
Anybody else find it really weird you didn't run into one type of clicker or anything?
No, I was not expecting to see one. Well, that's a lie. At the end of the gameplay segment, when she threatens and kills the guy, the final guy, I expected one to pop out at some point, but it's okay. Like, I don't think that's a big deal.
I'm very curious is this game going to go more Uncharted, hardcore story, less environment-esque, or if the zombies are still going to be as, like... Because the first game, like, I mean, spoiler alert, but it's 5 years old at this point almost, but the first game, a lot of the struggle was, like, this is the human's chance to defeat the zombies kind of deal. Whereas, like, now it seems like you're just in a world. That's it. Bad stuff's happening.
Walking Dead route.
I think it's going the Walking Dead route. I don't think the clickers are going away.
Right.
I think they're still going to be a factor. But I do think the point is that humans are more dangerous. And that happens in The Last of Us, in which the beginning of the game...
Joel just sounds off at the end,
At the beginning of the game, you're almost exclusively fighting, with the exception of, like, the beginning of Boston, you're fighting almost exclusively clickers. Yep. And then as the game goes on, there's this merging of the two enemy types until it's almost entirely humans. So I think you're going to see maybe a shift in the opposite direction, which would be very poetic. Speaking of poetic, the end cap to that, where Ellie has the kiss with the girl that she's very obviously infatuated with. Side note, best video game kiss I've seen. The animation and the sound. I was like, wow, they're going at it. Like, I can see and hear all of that.
There's a podcast that I super enjoyed. It's the Double Toasted podcast, and those guys were talking about that specific kiss. And the one guy's like, man, they are getting into it. It's like she's eating chicken on this thing.
But that ending line where she's like I said, they should be terrified of you, was the perfect end cap to that entire sequence. And I, for one, cannot wait for this game.
I'm excited.
I'm not worried because of how, if it's set up similar to The Last of Us, where you're in these environments, there's a certain level of interactivity, but you're funneled around this linear progression story, that's fine. They opened that kind of gameplay up in Uncharted 4, same level of openness in Uncharted 4, but with that style of gameplay, I'm totally down.
Even A Thief's End gave you a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. So
I just see that, with her being so much older, I feel like it is certainly possible that the fungus had died out because it had nothing to feed off of after a while. People started separating, didn't have a whole lot of large congregations for things to spread so quickly. It could be that it died out.
We'll see.
I definitely. I would disagree with that. What date?
I'm thinking that it's going to fall in the same time period that the original did, which is going to be that late May, early June.
I'm going to hit that at PSX.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think
PSX
this year, they're going to drop the date, final gameplay trailer. Because I think for the original Last of Us, they did gameplay announcement, gameplay, like cinematic trailer, and then with the release.
Spring of 13?
Yeah, sounds right.
What console they dropped that on?
It was on PS3 first. Was it 13?
It was.
Yeah, it was June. It was in June of 13 because it was. The funny part is that it was the Friday of the end of E3. Yeah. And everyone was bitching that they had to go back and review the last. Right. So I think it looked solid. I mean, does anybody else have anything else to say? I could gush on this game all night. I'm trying to move it forward because I'll continue talking about it.
Well, to be fair, like the rest of Sony here could basically be another Blitz. So
yeah, it was super weird because we got this wonderful moment. It became very apparent at the beginning of that trailer that the tent they were in was designed to be the church from the gameplay sequence, and then they cut to black, moved to some set off stage in which it had the host of the broadcast, Sid Schumann, talking with Sean Layden for 15 minutes.
Yeah. My favorite part, I think, of... what was it? My favorite part, I think, the whole thing was... It was 15 minutes of nothing, and then they actually had to go over 15 minutes, I guess, on what they would have gone for.
Correct.
It was the whole thing ended up being an hour and 15 minutes because it took them 15 minutes to move people.
The best part is they announced God of War New Game Plus in that little interview. Yep. There were people in the press who were being shuttled along to the next segment that were looking at Twitter and going, oh, God of War New Game Plus is announced. I need to write a story about this because they announced it away from the people who were writing about the announcements.
What's very odd as well is, as we were talking about this, we're thinking about like, oh, you could totally have like a little show or whatever. My thinking is, oh, all these people walking around. It's like, I went to PSX last year, so I was like, oh, cool, it's probably going to be like that. You're going to go through these little hallways and see cool scenic stuff. And they basically had like all these like Ghost of Tsushima setups.
Yeah.
But it's just like a grassy field with wind blowing.
Yep.
And I'm like, you could have just played a video and been like, oh, look, God of War, guys, that's great.
Instead they had the other performer come out and do another 6 minutes of unnecessary music.
The craziest oboe ever.
The worst part, in my opinion, is that they did this whole lead up to PlayStation E3, 5 days in which they got their blogcast cast and a bunch of other people that work for Sony to get onto stage to get live streamed to announce a trailer and go, we'll see you tomorrow, for 5 days, for 5 separate announcements. Yeah. The total running time of which equates to roughly 15 minutes.
Yep.
Almost like they could have put that anywhere.
Like an intermission.
Yeah, that'd have been wonderful. But you're right, we move on to the stage for Ghost of Tsushima.
15 minutes of oboe later.
15 minutes of oboe later. Once again, we're having music and no gameplay. Just grassy field behind them to, honestly, what reminded me so much of Breath of the Wild at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, huge open field, horse.
This is
scenic.
Beautiful wind graphics.
Open world.
Open world.
You wouldn't know that from the gameplay they showed.
You would not. But now, in hindsight, watching that trailer, you're like, oh, I guess I can go to that field over there.
Yeah.
Mess with that cherry blossom tree.
I love Sucker Punch. They're an excellent developer, and I have all the faith in the world in them. I did not like this gameplay trailer. The combat looked cool. The couple sequences were great.
No context.
No context for anything happening. At some point in time, the female betrays the male lead, and it's like
but they're still friends.
It's supposed to be this epic moment, and they fight, and then they're friends again, and
they're
like
together. Yeah.
What the hell is this?
It's so odd because like when I think about the most recent thing they did with Infamous Second Son, like the trailers for that sold the game.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very odd, but I mean, I'm excited to see more of it. It looked gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look good. I don't know why they didn't give more though. Like you had all this time.
Yeah, I agree.
And they just squandered all of it.
Yep. That makes me think it is a going to be a February 2020 release.
6 months into the new console, yeah, for good console.
After Ghost of Tsushima, we got to see Remedy's new game, Control,
which looks odd and awesome.
It looks very much
like
Remedy.
Push in a video game.
So I got to see some gameplay today, and the woman you're playing is the new head of the FBI, who was handed a gun that is like DNA coded to the FBI leader. And what you're not told by the public is that there are entities that are trying to enter. They're like poltergeists. And so, like, all the people hanging from the ceiling were all possessed by these people, and it's her trying to figure out what's going on. And you have the ability to, like, put up a shield, you can pick up items and throw it. Like, while this person was running around, it was run and gun, and, like, grab a clock, throw it off the wall. Grab a file cabinet, throw it at the enemy. Put up a shield, drop their bullets. You can, like, make a short shotgun blast in front of you. It looks really good.
The best way they could have done this game as well, like, the coolest addition to that, is if, like, the news in the game, they had Alex Jones come in and just get, like, crazy conspiracy theory stuff. Oh, my God, it'd be great.
Remedy. You heard it here
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
He's looking for a new job.
Yep.
That's not true. Don't.
I'll
Nobody,
take it.
nobody
I'll
jump.
take it.
After Control, we got the best trailer of Sony's conference aside from Last of Us, which is the Resident Evil 2. It was a great trailer.
What kind of order do you
What?
I was gonna say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
But
I thought
the next
It
one's
is
2
cool
items
trailer.
down. No. Best one was 2 items down.
I'm getting there. Relax,
It
people.
was cool. It was
Yeah,
cool.
I thought it was a cool little thing.
The best part was we were all watching
I
it.
love how you're all getting upset now.
We were all
I
watching
was just like, what?
To be fair, it's not what I expected.
Yeah.
Not at all.
One, I thought it was Cockroach Simulator to begin with.
Yes.
I was cool with it. But then we're watching it, and as we're watching it, like, I didn't really play the old Resident Evil games. I think 5 is the first one I played.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
we have
wow.
John
Me too.
over here on the couch, and as we're watching this, John's like, "Oh, that's not a raccoon badge," and I was like, "What the?" And then, like, as soon as we pans out, I was like, "The Raccoon Police Department." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Oh, this is Resident Evil." I was like, "Okay."
To be fair, I didn't know they were called the Raccoon Police Department, and as soon as like they showed that across the front, I was like, they call it Raccoon?
Raccoon
The
City.
Raccoon City.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I think is really cool is I once again got to see some
Raccoon.
gameplay today. This is built like Resident Evil 4, so it's over the shoulder camera. It's very close, which means they had to remake the entirety of this game. So this is a brand based on the old but brand new Resident Evil. My favorite thing is the developer during this interview was like, we added bathrooms to the police department.
Yeah. R.I.P. Swole Team 6, Chris.
Yes, 100%. Because Leon is a scrawny thing. That was my favorite thing about all the fans is online people are like, I don't like his face. I don't like this new face of his.
What's weird to me is
can't please
I don't
anybody.
understand how you go from I don't know who their character designer is, because Chris in Resident Evil 5 is one of the most broken looking humans ever, and then half these people look normal.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You just be like, let's shoot him with steroids.
Resident Evil 5 was the first one I played too.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, everybody else hated it.
Just us.
Yeah.
Go off together.
Well, it's because it wasn't like other Resident Evil.
I loved it because it was co-op.
Yeah, it was good. After that, we got my favorite trailer. I just keep saying this over and over again. The best Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, hands down. It
that
sold
was
the game for me. 100%.
Yeah, because it was the
Different.
one.
Yeah, it was very different. It had Pirates of the Caribbean, which was great. We got to see plenty more gameplay. Super excited for this game.
It
We
made
don't
me
have
want to
to-
actually play it, so I have to give him credit.
You can play it after me.
I'm fine.
I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna get to the last two, or the very.
You mean the actual best trailer of the entire show?
Black Ops 3 was surprise dropped on PS Plus, which if you haven't downloaded it yet, you can. I totally added it to my library.
You also get the map pack.
True, which is going to be
classic maps.
4, 4,
Yep.
and 3.
Yep, you get them the night of. All amazing. I downloaded those and played those because I adore those maps.
Super nice.
Have them. It was very odd that Black Ops didn't do more.
Yeah, it literally was just a side note. They brought it up on screen. It was the Black Ops. I think it was a Black Ops 4 trailer, and then afterwards.
What's also very odd is after the Black Ops reveal, in that they were talking about they were trying to bring more content, and it seemingly they released the special editions and whatnot, and there is a season pass. Initially, it seems like there was going to be no way to buy the season pass outside of special editions, but now they're going to put the season pass separate. But in a year of free content, they're doing 12 maps, 4 Blackout characters, and the whole zombie season in a season pass, and I think it's $40.
So, but what's the point of free updates and maps?
I don't know.
Okay, all right, well,
Maybe they just misspoke.
I guess so.
I assume after the community uproar, they will possibly be changing that.
Yeah,
Community seems to be a
little tilted. Yeah,
A little tilted.
I had a feeling. We also got the Destiny 2 Forsaken trailer in which they killed Cade 6.
Killed Kate. They confirmed it afterwards on the one of the E3 little podcasts.
Yep.
They said he is dead. Now they could also be full of crap, but
There's so many people who are like, he didn't die on screen. So we'll see. I would be surprised if they did, considering the popularity of the character.
two things I wouldn't be terribly surprised because A, voice acting, that's gonna save them a lot of dollars. And then 2, I mean, you're gonna do something dramatic to bring people back, and they're better or worse, it's gonna get people talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll dive into it. I've been dancing around it because it's a lot of fun to make Mark squirm. Death Stranding gets a full trailer. Not only do we get to see more cinematics of Kojima's crazy mind, but some actual gameplay
Yeah.
of walking.
Yeah.
Just walking all over this
really
world.
creepy things going on.
Yeah.
To be fair, whenever this trailer happened, and we're all I really don't do horror. I really don't.
Yeah.
I've never done horror movies, but I flipped my perspective. I kind of want to play it.
Oh, I
What's weird
can't
to me
wait.
is
I'll
I
watch
don't
it.
even know if it's a horror game. What is the? There's just so many
Well, you
questions.
watched one of
it's
the
not-
trailers where the guy gets taken and then turned into dust.
So
Probably not intended to be a horror game, but it's definitely a thriller. It's definitely going to be a thriller.
Yeah.
we all watched this together at this conference, and I don't know specifically, but the crowd we were with and Tyler was like, those things are creepy, and I was like, they don't look that creepy. I've seen Kojima creepier.
Yeah.
But that was just my personal
We also didn't
reference.
see them attack you.
That is true. That
I
is
heard
true.
Well, no, actually we did.
At
Never
the
mind. I take
very
it
end,
back.
but
Yeah,
everyone was commenting before.
I heard the craziest theory on Twitter right afterwards about this concept, and it very well could be viable, and it is that these aliens have taken over Earth and humans are super limited. So what we've done is those babies are babies that we've stolen from them that are infected, and then those babies are the only ones that can see them.
That'd be interesting. There is an excellent. I'm going to pimp another YouTube channel. Python Selkin is these two brothers who go and do theory videos on specifically Kojima games. And so before the release of Phantom Pain, they guessed that the main character you're playing is not actually Naked Snake, and they guessed a bunch of other things. They have all these theories connected to it. They have a long-running theory that this game is Silent Hills in some form or another. Supposedly still working in conjunction with Konami. The whole breakup was very public and on purpose because Kojima's playing a long game to fuck with people.
Wow. I would see him doing that.
I love this theory, and I want it to be true. And every time we see a trailer, I'm like, all right, one more week, and I'll get that analysis video.
You never actively see him say or do anything towards Konami or anything?
No.
So.
That's also a Japanese mentality.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, we got to see some actual gameplay. The game looks creepier than ever.
Yep.
They've added 2 new cast members. We still have no clue for this. There's so many people screaming that this game's not ready until 2021, but I'm guessing this is their fall 2020 game.
Yep, good year into the console. Shit time.
I either think it's going to be the fall or it'll be in that same slot as Uncharted 4 was, as Last of Us 2 will probably be, which is that
Q2.
May, June, that area.
Well, I mean, they did release Last of Us on the PS3 and then a remastered version 1 year later on the PS4. So they make sense that they would do that again if they released Last of Us 2 in 2019 and then released the remastered version in 2020.
Yep. A year into the console. Yeah.
They were very specific about that. Just put it out there. So this is your favorite trailer of the conference?
I honestly thought it was brilliant looking.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was the one scene in particular that seemed particularly terrifying. But the rest of the game, just being the transporter and losing stuff as you're like trying to maintain control of your stuff, like as a transporter to maintain control of everything, just seemed awesome. Like you're scaling the side of like almost negative slopes, with this giant thing on your back, Like,
at some point in time, he loses a motorcycle that we never see him ride. You're like, where did that come from?
He's carrying a human being at one point.
It looks so bizarre, and I love Kojima-san for it. So.
And Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
And it could be a mailman simulator.
I'm totally okay with this.
Let's be real. We all know I love my simulator. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of people joking like this is the game, and he's gonna release it, and so many people are gonna be upset. Moving on, we also got another VR game from Justin Roiland. This was the Trover Saves the Universe.
Yep.
Once again, Justin Roiland can only do one voice, but it's a hilarious voice, and the trailer was actually kind of funny. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's Rick and Morty.
Correct.
Video game, basically. Not really Rick and Morty, but that
this looks interesting because I did not play Accounting Plus, but from my understanding, it's like very much you're in one spot manipulating things.
Yep.
That was the Rick and Morty VR game. This is apparently a platformer, and it doesn't have to be played in VR, but it's preferred to be played in VR. So that's kind of cool to see a more interactive game coming from his little studio, Squanch Games.
Squanch.
Thank you. After that, we got a tease that Neo 2 would be coming, which all that
That's
really
so fast.
It is really fast,
it's
actually.
Extremely fast.
Not surprised either, considering the acclaim it got. It actually sold quite a bit, so really excited to see more of that game. Samurai Dark Souls can't go wrong.
Yep.
The final little bit of gameplay we got was from Spider-Man, where we saw the web hero come in through the raft, which is the big prison. All of his villains
Arkham.
break out. Yeah, it was Arkham-style combat for sure, but it worked so well.
It looks so good. Sexy.
From some of the other things I've read, apparently it does have a similar system to like the counter in Batman, where something comes over his head.
Yeah.
Except it is the spider sense. Except you don't know which enemy it is. So Arkham alerts you to which enemy's coming. So you get the alert, but you still have to pay attention.
Maybe he's not skilled enough to pinpoint it yet.
You're goddamn right.
Or it's an upgrade and you eventually do, but I mean, a lot of the past games it was just a counter and he would just flip out of the way. And
it's a third-person perspective game. You can see everybody around you.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was just nice to add a little bit more skill back into that countering system rather than waiting and knowing exactly who's coming at you.
Talk about a game that if they added a VR functionality, just going through the city,
Yeah.
that'd be crazy.
I don't disagree at all. So
how have they not made this yet? A Spider-Man VR just swinging through everything.
there's a Spider-Man VR experience based
But I
on
feel like-
Homecoming that's apparently terrible.
because I feel like everybody would vomit.
There's also that. But
I mean, it's like having a roller coaster simulator.
Yes, exactly.
Well, they had that with
Vomit.
the shooting one from not Dust Till Dawn.
yeah, Until Dawn.
Until Dawn.
Yeah, Rush of Blood. Yeah, that one made my stomach drop when they went down there.
It was like the first VR game we played like that.
What was it? What was it called? The one I played whenever we did the Christmas thing. Red
Super hot.
Super Hot. That's it.
Super
Halt.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's the one part of that where you're going through the end of it, and it gets right to the end, and it's like, all right, ready, jump, and it like you start falling, and I'm not kidding you. I was in the game enough. I was like, ah. I feel like if I was in a VR simulator of Spider-Man, all over the walls, everywhere, television
I
covered,
would pay to watch
PlayStation's covered, whole thing done.
It looks really good, though. I am super excited. Insomniac Games can do no wrong in my eyes.
They haven't yet so far.
Yep. So I'm very...
No purple egg.
No what?
No purple egg.
No purple leg?
No purple egg.
No purple egg. Got it. No,
purple
not
egg.
surprised.
Really?
It's there, though, which is very odd.
Yes.
They have demos of one.
Yeah, they have it there. Spyro, yeah.
They didn't even give it a nod.
No.
It's very odd.
There might be a reference in the game, but they didn't have it on stage, is what he's talking about.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't give it the heads
Very
up.
odd, yes.
Even odder, after that, they cut back to this little group of people outside in which they announced that From Software is building a PlayStation VR game.
Yep.
Once again, not in the press conference. Part of is all the press had to be alerted via text or Twitter that this was happening for them to write about it. And then the conference ended.
In a weird way.
The weirdest thing I think I've seen conference-wise, and I'm going to jump in this one first. Like, games, A+. They had everything I wanted there. There could have been more. There were some that I was like, eh. But the games I want to play the most are in that conference. All of them.
Yep.
Presentation, a solid F. Like, what were you thinking? Somebody got this as their pet project. I appreciate the effort. I understand what you're going for. At one point in time, someone should have tapped you on the shoulder and said, this won't work. Just stop it.
So do you
what is your
average it to
Yeah,
a C?
it's a C.
I'll go C minus. To be fair, there's a lot of stuff on this list that I probably won't play. I mean, to be fair though, this conference may very well be the reason why I buy PS4.
Yeah.
I mean, Last of Us 2. I may even play Resident Evil. Actually, I thought it looked kind of cool, but
Death Stranding.
I didn't. Death Stranding. Yeah. No. Honestly, that sold me. And Trover saves the Trover saves the universe. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die laughing the entire time.
Yeah.
For me, it is for me, it's a B, and it would totally be an A if the conference wasn't weird.
Yeah.
Like you said, though, like the biggest thing to me is like the Xbox one. After the end of the Xbox one, it was these are the games I'm going to play on my PlayStation. Whereas this, it's like this is the reason I own a PlayStation.
I agree with that entirely.
And it definitely felt like PlayStation was like, this is why you buy our console, and this is why you're going to keep buying our console. They didn't mention anything about the future.
Nope.
Very sad to me, but
no reason to.
Exactly, no reason.
They want you to focus on what is winning.
No update on hardware, no nothing. It's very odd. No streaming, none of that.
I am surprised we didn't hear anything about PlayStation Now or PS Plus or anything along those lines.
No talking about PlayStation Home, Little Big Planet, lots of misses. The conference, the actual presentation, I was cool with the music. The moving was weird, and also the 15-minute intermission sucked. And the ending, there wasn't one. Yeah. No even scissor reel, really, until
nothing.
An hour afterwards.
Yeah.
So I'd give it a B, just because of the games.
Same for the same exact reason. The only thing they showed me why I bought a PS4.
Yeah.
They showed me why I love PS4. I knew that these games were coming. Kind of sucked at that end, but yeah, I mean, outside of the quirky presentation, they showed up to tell you why you should have bought a PS4 or why you're going to.
Yep. Biggest pet peeve: no dates. Why does PlayStation
not a single date for anything? Yep. Even Spider-Man, the date we knew, there was no date at the end of that trailer, which surprised me. I think they were one of two conferences in which you left like, that's why I trust this person.
Yep.
Do you think that's what they didn't do that because they wanted to see what everybody else's was going to be before they started spouting that off, just to make sure they didn't
I feel like a lot of their stuff is just far out.
Like, I agree with that. I think there's some of it, like The Last of Us 2 definitely looks way closer than I thought originally going into that conference, but they still don't want to put that date on it.
So does this make you think that there's a better chance that Xbox might come out in 2019 and the PS5 comes out in 2020?
I actually think the inverse. I think there's a better chance the Xbox comes out in 2020, and in my opinion, I think it's probably the same. I think to me, it's probably more favorably 2020 for the PS5, but I think there's a better chance for 19 now, because Xbox is most likely at least 2020. PlayStation has to mentally be like, it's 2020 or before, because Xbox is 100% 2020 or before.
This will be my topic next week, so we can discuss more of that then, for sure. Final conference. Because we got to end on decent note.
Yeah.
We got the Nintendo conference, their showcase, which they did in their typical style for the past 3 years now, I think, which was a video with a bunch of voiceover and making some announcements. Mostly Reggie this time, which kind of surprised me because they usually kind of change it up and throw in developers.
Such a weird setup.
It always is. It always is. I enjoy it because it feels very quirky.
It
feels awkward.
To me, it feels like, I don't know, like one of those, like almost like the We Happy Few Happy Simulator. It's sketch. I don't like it.
One thing that drove me nuts as soon as I saw him come on screen, it felt like he was green screened into that room. I know he's physically there, but he felt green screened into that room.
It's just so odd.
Wow.
Feels like blue.
I didn't watch this one, believe it or not. I actually got all the notes from you guys. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Well, you'll be excited to hear some announcements.
Yeah. No, I mean, I read all those bullet points, believe me.
Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were talked about up front in the most awkward way possible. Like there was absolutely no real gameplay shown other than pieces of trailer we've already seen, and mostly was focused on Reggie with a little bit of gameplay behind him, holding the Pokeball Plus.
Yes, Pokeball Plus. What about the online piece? Did they not say that you have to have the online to share and whatnot?
They didn't say anything like that.
I thought that's what I heard.
I could double check. From my notes, I don't remember that.
That was expected, though.
I do think it's very odd, especially if you have to be connected online to share your Pokemon from your Go. That would be so inconvenient. You have to pay.
I know what you're saying. I don't think that was the case. I think he was talking about to trade and battle because they did discuss that a little bit, but I don't remember
what I wasn't
the
clear
specifics.
on, and that's why I was like, if you have to pay to take your Pokemon from your phone to your game, that is dumb.
Yeah.
But you're gonna pay for it for Smash, so whatever.
He reinforced the idea that this is a traditional Pokemon game with Go mechanics. That's something they've wanted to do since the popularity of Go came high. That little controller, that Pokeball controller, is going to come with Mew that you can then transfer into your game. Not Pokemon Go, but the Let's Go. I actually got to see some gameplay of this outside of the conference, and it is Pokemon Yellow in the most gorgeous way possible.
Can't wait.
You walk into Brock's gym, and there are spectators and on platforms that are watching you as you take on the trainers.
It's almost like they could have done this on mobile.
No.
Nah.
Not to this fidelity.
It'd be close.
Okay.
It looks the same feel.
It looks really good. I'm very excited. It has the traditional battle mechanics.
I could catch things.
It's going to be cool for parents because there's a second player functionality where you can catch together, you can fight together. So, there's aspects to it that I think are going to be really cute. I feel like it's Pokemon easy, which worries me because Pokemon is already very easy.
My issue as well, with not just the easiness, is like Pokemon Go. Like at the end of the day, like you don't really mind scrolling your little doodad and flicking it. If sitting on the couch, one, I don't know if you can put Pro Controller, and if you do, how does that work? But if you're using the Joy-Cons on the couch, like it is going to be so annoying to always be like.
So you can see the Pokemon screen, so you can avoid them if you want. I don't know if Pro Controller works, but they did say like when you have the Joy-Cons connected and you're in portable mode, you're flicking the joystick.
Just up, down?
I mean, however you want to like control the ball.
I mean, beforehand, all it was a button press. So
I'm not terribly.
If it was just an A, like hit A on the timing, I mean, I'd be cooler with it, but it just feels gimmicky.
It is very gimmicky.
Yeah.
It is interesting to see how it works because like you capture Pokemon and that gives you experience for all of your party, which was a weird. There's a lot of things that we kind of know but don't really know. Yeah. I'm still gonna buy it because I like Pokemon and this integration with Go is exciting to me because I play Go often with my fiance. So having that together will be really cool.
Two Switches now?
Are you gonna get 2 Pokeballs?
I'm not buying the Pokeball.
No.
No, I just.
Do you think you'll be able to get Mew for both of them?
You already got like 6.
No, I don't have. I should get the watch though. I need to get the watch.
Don't you have like 6 Mews?
No, I only have one. I have like 6 Mewtwo's.
Oh, Mewtwo.
There's only one Mew. I forgot to bring up the fact that they announced the Damon Ex Machina up front. Cell shaded, like a Gundam style battle with huge robots. It looks cool.
Yep.
But we don't really know much more than the cool trailer they showed. So look good. After that, we got Super Mario Party for Switch, which this one actually excited me.
I'm on board. I like
clean.
it.
It looks super clean. You can integrate it with multiple switches, which is really cool.
My favorite feature is she just swipes across them, and I was sitting here thinking about that like particular part of the trailer, and I was like, that's so cool. That they're just like aligning them based on that.
Mine was the cannon launchers. They set them up to like different cannon placements or whatever. That's pretty cool. The trike one, like once again, some of the stuff in normal We Form just looks so gimmicky somehow.
I know.
It's like,
I know.
But let's be real. If you're playing as
7-year-olds are gonna have a great time.
if you're playing as a party, like
Yeah.
even us, we're gonna.
Oh,
have fun with
100%.
it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Mario Party. It's been kind of sad to not have one around to play.
I'm also glad we're not fighting Bowser again because that was fun. Like my roommates had it bad. It was fun twice.
Yeah, that's all you need to do. So this one looks good. I think they said it was coming out sometime this October, October 5th. So that is going to be something I'll have in the household for sure. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 gets some DLC. Exciting for people who like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I know very little about it, so you can go look it up. Fire Emblem Three Houses was announced, and this looks cool. I've never played Fire Emblem, but it's the strategy game. Typically, you're like on this checkerboard pattern grid, and you would battle one character to one character. This, because of the power of the Switch, they actually have it so that in those sequences, you're still battling one character to character, but each character has an army around them, and those armies are battling. So it makes you feel like you're in the middle of the army battles, which is super dope. The graphics look great. Like, story-wise, we didn't get much out of it, but this is probably going to be the first Fire Emblem I jump into. I was super
I
impressed.
can't wait to actually watch you play it.
Yeah.
Put it on the big screen. Actually use that dock.
Absolutely, for the first time.
Yeah, right.
Fortnite announced for Switch and out now. I'm sorry.
Is that number right?
What's that?
The bullet point. Is that number right?
Yeah, it's out now.
No. I
Oh,
mean,
right here.
the sub bullet. That's ridiculous.
2 million times in 24 hours.
Would you calm down? I'm getting there.
I know.
Jumping ahead of the story.
I wanted to lead
ladies
into that,
and
but
gentlemen.
I'm excited. That's
Yeah. So Fortnite BR only, out for Switch now, free to play, downloaded over 2 million times in 24 hours.
Yeah, you want to know the funny part about videos? If you have a PlayStation account, make a new one.
Yeah.
Because Sony basically blocked all the accounts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody who had an account and went to Switch, you can't be back on PlayStation now.
What?
Because they don't want you to share DLCs because if you pay for it, they only want it to be on the PlayStation system.
Because they make money off of that.
Yep.
They're being really, really special about how
they're the Apple of
online
consoles.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's very odd is it's just, I don't know, it's definitely getting to a point of at what point in time are you commanding because you want to and what point are you doing out of fear.
Like, what did you really gain from that? I mean, seriously.
I truly believe that they're going to ease off the brakes here soon. I think part of that was to kibosh the excitement, to be honest with you. It's a great play in the sense of, like, slowing that making people a little bit more apprehensive.
But where did they make the gain?
Yeah, but for me, it's not like, it's one thing to, like, limit them, but two, like, this is, like, directly
Impacting players.
impacting players. And it's the players that made a account on your system.
I don't disagree. I don't think it's a smart move, but I can see why they would do it.
Right.
So, if they come around next week and they say, sorry, we didn't mean to lock your accounts, here you go.
No, they already released a statement on it today or yesterday, and their statement was basically like, deal with it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, well.
I'll pull up their exact statement. real
Yeah,
quick.
if you can pull it out while I go over the rest of these.
It's eat crap.
Some more indie games were announced, including Hollow Knight, which is already out on PC, but it looks really cool. I'm super excited to see it on Switch. You can buy it now, which was exciting to me. A little Metroidvania, a little tough.
Yep.
They also announced that Killer Queen Black is indeed coming.
Yes.
It's
I'm excited for that.
4v4, not 5v5.
Which is odd.
Other than that,
Yeah, agreed.
it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Do you have that statement?
I do have that statement. The statement is, just re-scroll because stupid ads. We're always opening to hearing what the PlayStation community is interested in to enhance their gaming experience. With more than 80 million monthly active PlayStation Network users on PlayStation Network, we built a huge community of gamers who can play together on Fortnite and on all titles. We also offer Fortnite crossplay support with PC, Mac, and iOS and Android devices, expanding the opportunity for Fortnite fans on PS4 to play even more with even more gamers on other platforms. We have nothing further to add beyond this point.
I think it's because Nintendo and Microsoft are starting to build a partnership.
Yep.
And they feel threatened because there's a couple other things too, like with the Switch and getting achievements if you're playing Minecraft.
Do you think the Kingdom Hearts they made have played a part in that?
No.
No, I mean, you saw who got the cool trailer.
Yeah, the better trailer.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
Back to what we were talking about. Overcooked 2 announced.
Even
It's
over
going
themselves.
to be a Switch launch exclusive. So it'll be on there for probably 6 months or so. It's coming in August, which is awesome. It looks great. They added throwing. You can throw food at it. The best thing they could have done. I really hope it is that you hold a button and you flick the joystick because that would be amazing. They also announced that Dragon Ball Fighters is coming to the Switch, which is great. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. SNK
fun,
Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. anybody knows what that is, it's also coming to Switch. Splatoon 2's Octo expansion got a little bit of a trailer along with announcement of 3 new amiibos. That should be coming out now. If it's not out now, it's going to be out this week. Which looks fun. Splatoon 2, if they continue these kinds of updates and they're free, I think could grow a nice sized community. Yep. It definitely seemed like they wanted to do something with 1, but it was just hamstrung on the hardware that it was in. So hopefully they can do something with it. Because I like the concept, I've just never played it.
Yep. I mean, I definitely think it's a fun game. I actually bought a Wii U for the second time for that game. It was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad to see them doing more of it.
Yeah. And then we got to the final announcement. The final announcement of this 45-minute conference that took 25 minutes.
Yep.
Which is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Can we just note real quick, if you're going to make a game and you're going to announce the game, please do it better. Because the way they came out on this was so weird. Because they were like, oh yeah, we're going to have a lot of characters. They're going to be numbered. And then it's like, it just flashes on screen the characters with numbers. And I'm like...
But out of order.
It was completely out of order.
And I was like, just say there's a lot.
Yeah.
Or show if you don't want to show everybody, show the character screen and then have them grayed out who you don't want to show.
Yeah. It was
lots of great options here, not that.
It was funny is they showed all the ones like 1 through 5.
It was like
then it was like 1, 3, 5, 2, 4. And
61.
Like, yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool.
It was super bizarre. Super bizarre. They then went through every single character to explain a fun fact about them in this new Switch release, which I don't think we announced. This Smash includes every character that's been playable in Smash, with one exception.
Waluigi. No, Wario.
Waluigi's never been playable in
Wario
Smash.
is in there.
I saw
Charizard.
Charizard's not in there?
So Charizard's in there under Pokemon Trainer. Charizard is not his own character.
I saw
they're all separate characters now?
I actually saw where there's...
So Charizard was a separate character in the last iteration of the game.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
No.
I saw where there was a couple people who were actually left out. I think there was like 84 or 81 total, and there's only 74 in this game. There's 62 unlockable, 12 at the start.
There's definitely more than 84 or 70 something. We can look it up.
Yeah.
They're claiming it's all the playable characters that have ever been in there, and they gave details on each, including what they're now calling their clone characters. They never really had a term for it. There's always been a couple that have similar moves. They're now called Echo characters, and they announced a new one, which is going to be Daisy. So she echoes Princess Peach. So they have very similar skill sets. They have like 1 or 2 moves that are different.
Yeah, what doesn't make any sense to me is you have this, but then you have Mario and Dr. Mario.
Correct.
Yeah. And not only that, but you have like 4 different links.
Yeah, you have the different links.
3 different links.
And it would also be different if the Zero Suit Samus and Samus were dramatically different.
Yeah.
Well, so I want to note something too. You have Dr. Mario and Mario, but Mario is the new Mario with the hat thing. Yeah, that's right. You can change though to Wedding Mario and what was it? A Construction Mario or something like that.
Yeah. Dr. Mario's the skin. That's it.
I'm gonna be honest. I skipped through like the majority
of
this.
I
watched this after the fact and I was just kind of like click. Nope. Still Smash. Still Smash.
What's weird about the whole thing as well is it was like a 15-20 minute trailer, and then it felt like it just was like gameplay.
Yeah.
So let's just go to the Smash play. And I was like, okay, when did your thing end? It's been over. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We switch over to Treehouse.
They do that all the time where it's like, and we're switching over to Treehouse Live, and then it goes on for 8 hours. So you better understand that that's the end of the conference, and you're going into gameplay. They're going to include 8-player return, like 8-player play, so you can have 8 players on there. GameCube controller support for Switch, which is nice. Also, I found out today that I totally forgot my point. What? So it doesn't.
What? You leave you midstream?
Literally had it. I was like, and I found out that it's got assist trophies. So assist trophies are a thing that have always been around, where they kind of bonus for you. They are now act as a playable character, so they're on screen running around. They have the same number to highlight which player actually threw them. If you kill an assist trophy, you get a bonus, like a kill added to your score. Which is interesting. So it's going to really mix. I think it's going to speed up battles is what it's going to do.
I don't understand what that is. An assist trophy?
Yeah, so you would utilize, it's like your one-shot bonus that you get for that fight. And so, like, Waluigi is thrown out, and then an AI-controlled Waluigi runs around the stage and, like, punches people. And so if someone else kills it, it acts like a kill against you.
That's interesting, okay.
Yeah.
Never noticed that.
Not all of them will act this way, but a lot of them will.
Cool.
So any of them that are interactive that way.
Interesting.
And they announced Ridley as a playable character, which is something that Smash players have been asking for since the original. Ridley, for anybody who doesn't know, is Samus's like space pirate villain that's been around for a long time. And
Cloud too.
Cloud was in the last one.
Yeah, I know, but like I thought that was really cool. He looks pretty awesome in this.
I was surprised they kept him in there. I want to get a Cloud Amiibo now.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was interesting because Sakurai, who is like the brainchild of all this, said specifically Ridley is too hard to animate and too large. They could never put him in a Smash. And here we are on the Switch, and he's like, "It's the power of the Switch, so because you're Ridley."
Yeah. Very odd.
So, do you guys have a favorite character for Smash?
I have not played enough to like have a specific like gameplay aspect favorite character. But I mean, you can give me any one of those links, I'm fucking happy. Especially he's got the hero's tunic now from Breath of the Wild, which is
Yes,
cool.
it does.
Totally Fox, because you can spam the shot,
Yes.
and that's what I'm good at.
That's my man right there.
Apparently, Pit's very similar.
From the few times I've played Smash, or various types of Smash, Meta Knight's always been my thing.
Nice. Are you getting this?
Huh?
Are you getting this?
Getting what?
Switch. Or Smash for Switch.
Oh, hands down.
Good. You and Sean are getting it, so I don't have to
Oh yeah. Samus, I used to play Samus, Fox, and Link, and Kirby. Believe it or not, Kirby's down B move just pissed everybody
So
off.
what's your rating of the show?
I was about to ask the same thing.
I didn't watch it,
So how do you feel? You
but
don't
how I feel about what we talked about and what the bullet. Goodbye. I am gonna give it a B.
Okay.
I think B's a fair enough answer. It wasn't spectacular because it seems like they fumbled Smash a little bit,
Yeah.
which is kind of like their main point. But I like what they're doing, and I think they're giving a very good vibe about what to expect for the future.
I don't disagree. I mean, Fire Emblem has me interested in a franchise I've never been interested in before. Mario Party is a great return to a franchise I haven't played in years.
Yep.
Even some of the smaller stuff like Overcooked, Hollow Knight, I'm all for it. Smash is great. I understand much like Halo. Like I get why they did it. I understand why people are excited about it. Not my thing, but yeah, B is about where I'm at.
I'll put myself C down the middle. I wasn't a fan of the presentation, but I think they have solid content.
I'm gonna go with. I want to go with C, but I'm gonna go with B because of Killer Queen and Overcooked.
Killer
At least
Queen's
we got
super nice.
2 newish announcements. It did feel like Port City plus regular Nintendo
Yeah.
rinse and repeat.
I don't disagree.
I
The
think
show
we're going to see that
also
a lot with
sucked, in my
Switch. I think Switch, unfortunately, for like especially up front, it's actually kind of good that they've been port city.
How
They blew their load in the first game, and so now
they needed. I mean,
they completely killed themselves with all the best games they possibly
And
had.
getting everybody
They're
in.
still one short of completing it, and that is Wii Sports. You got the Joy-Cons. You can do it.
That's what the
Do you
1-2
find like
switches
there was
for.
anything
That thing
missing
is
from this?
terrible.
Do you feel like there was anything missing from this? This conference?
Oh, it's
here?
almost like we predicted that something was going to be there. Well, a lot of some things.
Yeah.
That weren't.
No,
I know.
yeah, I agree with that entirely.
Like, why was Samus not there?
I think it's because the last E3 press conference we saw a logo that they threw together very quickly to announce that they're making Metroid 4.
You couldn't have shown
There's-
anything though. Like,
Why didn't we
people
see a
legit-
Fox logo? I assume they're working on that.
I agree with that. I was
Yeah.
very, very surprised with that. And Yoshi, which we know they're working on, was not there. They announced it was being delayed to 2019 and that they didn't have anything to show.
Yep.
Rocksteady came out and said that they have nothing to show at the time, which is why they weren't there, which surprised a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, since we're moving on to this part, the overall conference, I think wasn't the worst E3 I've seen. There were definitely some really big high points for me, but there were some very low points, and it feels like we're getting closer to. We're in a holding pattern for one reason or another. Like Nintendo's very obvious different reason. They're working on building up that catalog. They're very much like PS4 in their first year, where it's like,
Yep.
we got stuff coming, everyone be excited.
Hold
This
on.
to me is showing the death of E3.
This to me is showing the death of this generation. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think last year we saw so many new IPs. We saw so much crazy stuff.
Yeah.
We heard of Ghost of Tsushima. We heard of Last of Us. Like, we knew these things were coming, but there was a lot of big reveals last year. Last year, I was telling Brent, was one of the highest new IP years in the history of E3. This year is the lowest one since, I think, 2011. Which is crazy, but it's also what was 2011. We were in a holding pattern about to hit a new console generation.
Yeah.
I also don't think this is the death of E3. I think E3 is going to transform more. I
Yeah.
think some of these showcases, like we saw Square Enix, we saw Nintendo, that will become more common practice, I imagine. I don't necessarily think they're going to have a big conference like this. There'll probably be smaller events, but I still think it's like a year or two off. I think there's still one or two E3s out there in this format.
Yeah, I just think that eventually, like, what a lot of them are start doing is separating out
Yeah,
and saying,
absolutely.
yeah, this is our conference,
Well,
and
yeah,
we're going to
they've already
decide
s-
when we want to do
They've
it.
already started doing that though.
I mean, Sony's really the only one. Nintendo has those directs, but I mean, in my opinion, directs are a joke of a conference. It's like a 30-minute, 45-minute video basically.
They are, but it works well for the Nintendo community, and it gets them in the news.
Right. To me, like E3 is just quickly becoming Gamescom.
Yeah.
And I always thought Gamescom was way cooler.
Yep.
Because it's like a week worth of playing, and then you got the media for the first week or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas this, now they're allowing people in, which is great, and I'm confident they sold a ton of tickets and made a ton of money.
Yeah.
But it feels odd. Like, if this is supposed to be a presser, then make it a presser.
Yeah.
If it's supposed to be a community event, make it a community event. I would rather you do a really good job of one of those than a really mediocre job of two. And that's not necessarily to knock E3 as the establishment.
Yeah.
Like, most of these conferences, like Sony brought games, their show sucked.
Yeah.
Bethesda brought games, their show sucked. Xbox show was great, they didn't bring a whole
games,
lot.
yeah.
So it was like, just like, and then even players like Activision, like BlizzCon, cool event. PlayStation, PSX, cool event. So it's interesting to see what's going to go.
I think a shift to something like Gamescom, where it is like first 3 days press, the last 4, into the weekend being for open, would be a smart move on their part. And Gamescom is way bigger. Like 10,000 people go to Gamescom every year. So
it's way more than 10,000.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah,
it's like
100,000.
Yeah, thank you. My brain froze for a second.
I was like 10,000.
I went 10 million. I was like, it's not 10 million. Pull back, boy.
Real quick to kind of highlight, because I'm a stats junkie, I made a questionnaire and sent it out to everyone within our Strange Gaming organization. So we had 21 responses. It actually seems like somebody entered it during this to make 22. But the ranking of the conferences are via us of what we all said. It would have been either Bethesda or I believe Halo based upon our votes here. Or Bethesda or Microsoft. And it was Bethesda overall. We did a rating on a scale of 1 to 5. Bethesda comes in at a 4.14. Very high.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I think that's a lot of people probably going off games. Like I said, we didn't enjoy the conference a whole lot, but the games killed it.
Yeah.
Number 2, somewhat of a surprise, Sony at 3.57.
Really?
It's quite impressive. Like I said, I guess it's probably people voting off games, not voting off show.
Not surprised.
Third is Ubisoft. Very close, oddly enough. It is 3.43. Then Microsoft comes in at 3.42. EA, big spike down to 2.7. It impresses me that Nintendo it's got a 2.6, had the games but not the show, which is a little odd that it's that low. And then Square has a 2.04. Whoever put Square higher than a 1?
Yeah.
Did you watch anything?
You're screwing up.
Oh my god. So
you
then,
could have voted for any other conference because all their games were in all the other conferences.
Exactly.
Like if you like the games, just vote higher elsewhere.
So we asked what the most hyped games from E3 were. We had about 15 games in here. Along the likes of, I'm just going to run down it real quick. Anthem, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Beyond Good and Evil 2, Cyberpunk 2077, Death Stranding, Dying Light 2, Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 76, Gears 5, Ghost of Tsushima, Halo Infinite, Kingdom Hearts 3, Last of Us 2, Metro Exodus, Rage 2, Spider-Man, Starlink, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Division 2, Days Gone, and Hitman 2. So out of those, what were your top 3s?
If I remember correctly, I actually didn't pick any of the multiplayer games. I picked only Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, and Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I could have foresaw that. I could have guessed that for you.
Yep.
Same first two, Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, and Battlefield 5.
I could have guessed that one.
I don't remember what I picked.
The resounding winner with being on 60% of these is Last of Us 2. The next highest at 37% is Anthem.
Not surprised.
Then the third one is Death Stranding. And then there's 2 tied for 4th, Beyond Good and Evil 2 and Dying Light 2, actually.
Oh, wow.
And then Cyberpunk, Assassin's Creed, and Fallout 76 rounding out the top ones there.
Is there only one vote for Kingdom Hearts 3?
Kingdom Hearts 3. No, there are 3 votes.
Wow, all right.
I'm actually impressed that you guys didn't vote for the Division 2.
I love that game series, but we're talking about like anticipated.
Yeah.
He's been waiting for that game for a long
super hyped
time.
for Division 2, but you made me pick 3.
Yeah.
Those 3 are the ones I'm most hyped for.
Right. I think mine were actually Anthem, Beyond Good and Evil 2, and Last of Us.
I think I matched yours except for instead of Last of Us, I picked Division 2.
Okay.
To be honest, I might have swapped out Battlefield 5 for Anthem. I think Anthem looks pretty cool.
When it comes down to best trailer, what were your picks for best trailer? Same list.
Last of Us 2.
I knew that.
I think I did. I think I picked the exact same thing. I'm not lying. I think I did put Kingdom Hearts 3 as another high one on the trailer because I love it.
There's only one for the trailer.
Okay, well, yeah, there you go. Last of Us 2.
I mean,
You were debating.
Let's be real. What was the
Death Stranding.
what was the one I was like?
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I went with Beyond Good and Evil 2 as well.
Nice.
The winner is Last of Us 2 with 22%. And then second with 18% is Beyond Good and Evil 2. And then we also had Death Stranding tied for second. And then Ghost of Tsushima in third. Game most likely to win Game of the Year. Same pool of games. I did find this one a very interesting question because they're all obviously going to be released on different years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of which horse do you bet on because
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls statistically has almost won every time it's came out. Naughty Dogs has almost won every time it came out.
Yeah.
And then you have the other crazy ones like Beyond Good and Evil, Death Stranding, and these other.
I think we know my pick.
You went with Last of Us 2, did you?
Of course.
Oh, dude, he wants that so bad, but that's gonna
Honestly,
be
I
hard.
went with Last of Us 2. That's gotta be game of the year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I picked that one because I'm pretty sure it's gonna win, but I think Death Stranding is gonna be one of the surprises.
Oh,
that
it
comes up and
100%
beats it.
will be, but I think it's not coming out the same year as Last of Us
No.
2, which will be the game of the year it comes out.
Well, I mean, yeah.
With 45% of the vote, Last of Us 2 wins.
Yeah.
Second place is Death Stranding, down to 18% of the vote. And then Elder Scrolls and Fallout tied for third.
Yeah.
I
I
actually
can see
Sounds about
Fallout
right.
taking it too somehow.
I realized that I am the only person who voted for Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Well, they didn't show gameplay, which is why
Exactly.
I couldn't feel that way.
I'm just YOLOing it. So, game most likely to flop from the same pool. I think this is interesting as well because you have quite a few who didn't necessarily do well for the first one. Like Dying Light didn't do the greatest. Rage didn't do the greatest.
I don't remember what I put. I might have put Rage 2.
I might have gone with the same thing. I don't even.
I honestly don't remember.
the list.
I may have added one.
Three tabs worth.
No,
I think this might have been the one. Well, this is actually a question I was going to ask you guys at the end, which is interesting.
Wow.
Days Gone would have been the only one that was added.
That was me.
Was you?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was going to eat shit.
Unfortunately, because that game looks so good.
That, and I think Days Gone is going to eat crap, and I think that Anthem is going to hurt considerably.
Yeah, Anthem is definitely the winner here.
That is really interesting.
Anthem has 32% of the vote, roughly. The next highest is actually Halo. And
yeah.
then Beyond Good and Evil, followed by Fallout and Rage 2 are tied to round out the top.
I could see Rage 2 being picked as well.
Interesting.
Those are some cool little stats, kind of go over what a larger sect of us thought.
Yeah.
All in all, I definitely think there's a lot of cool stuff coming out of it.
Yep.
And obviously, feel free to add something in the comments. Tell us what you're the most hyped about, what you think is going to flop, what you're looking forward to, and what you thought of the conferences.
And what we missed, because I'm confident with that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something.
Hitman 2, we didn't even.
They weren't talked about in the conferences, though.
Oh, that's true.
Like, at any point in time. So
Well, I mean, there were a bunch of stuff in that.
feel free to comment. Next week, we'll be back with a regular regular show with our regular setup. But until then, aim for the bushes.
Hit the bushes.
Hopefully at half the time.